thử ra cho chúng ta thấy được một điểm.
Courtney Supermedium of Bloomberg News. Simon Lakovich of Williams and Connolly, our attorney for WHCA. The incoming president of the White House Correspondents Association from Fox News, Jackie Heinrich. And the outgoing president, Weijia Zhang of CBS News.
I used to say, if I hear AI one more time, I'm gonna lose it. But Monday.com is super easy to
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard from the Military District of Washington, D.C., and the singing of our national anthem by Master Gunnery Sergeant Kevin Banier.
Color Guard bắt đầu cờ nha. Sực treo ấy cái lá cờ phủ và cổng lạ vậy ha. Cái màn ảnh đang bị sao đó cái lá cờ.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so
I tried a ton of AI work tools. Then I tried Monday.com. Game over. Monday.com.
the twilight's last gleaming whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. The brave.
Hôm nay mình không thấy bà đệ nhất phu nhân nha. Bạn còn sợ khí ấm thì vừa rồi. Hôm nay mình thấy đệ nhất.
Please welcome CBS News White House Correspondent, President of the White House Correspondents Association,
Hiệp hội báo
Huy
chí
Gia
đó
Giang.
nha quý vị. Hàng năm họ tổ chức Trường Sơn bị đột nhập anh chàng đột nhập vô muốn ám sát tổng thống Trump để ngừng lại nước Trường bây giờ tổ chức trở lại.
Good evening, everybody. Let's try this again. Because one thing about this press corps is we always have a follow-up. Welcome to the 2026 White House Correspondents' Dinner, a tradition spanning more than a century and one we are especially proud to continue tonight. President Trump, thank you. Thank you for being here again. Thank you for all your support as we reschedule this dinner. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and your team, thank you too. Cabinet members, members of Congress, distinguished guests, welcome. And of course, WHCA members, thank you. Many of you were also with us in April. You came as guests, but within moments, you went to work. Please sit. You shifted into reporters, taking notes, capturing video, streaming live, even as uncertainty and anxiety filled the room. Law enforcement ran toward danger.
Wow.
Administration officials met backstage to gather facts. And Mr. President, you went straight to the podium in the White House briefing room to answer questions from journalists, all of us still in our gowns and tuxedos. That night will go down in history, and so will our response. During that news conference, President Trump said the ballroom was totally unified and that it was a very beautiful thing to see. 3 months later, it still is.
Wow.
Whatever may divide us, we stand together against political violence. An assassination attempt on our president is an attack on democracy itself. Tonight, tonight, our message is this. We are back. We will not be intimidated. We refuse to let an act of violence have the final word. Later, we will honor people whose courage and grace in April prevented the evening from becoming much worse. We'll also celebrate the exceptional work of our colleagues, the students who want to join our ranks, and the First Amendment that protects it all. But first, enjoy dinner and be good to your servers. We'll see you soon.
Tuy nhiên bà đã tổ chức một cái event này không trong thì ngày hôm nay là cũng có cái sẵn sàng. Không biết tối nay ông có kể những câu chuyện mà joke để cho mọi người là không, hay là một số phóng viên đài, ví dụ mình nhân đài ABC hay là những đài NSBC ví dụ như vậy đó, để chúng ta sẽ xem coi chuyện gì xảy ra trong những giây lát sắp tới nha. Vấn đề còn lại là ở đây đó cho Chân hiểu được ở nơi đây đó là cho mình thấy là bây giờ là khách đang vào trong bàn ngồi và mọi người đang giống như nói chuyện với nhau rồi sắp xếp lộ trình như thế nào. Thì cái này cũng kỳ rồi, cái ông đó cũng đứng theo một cái giây lát đó như vậy nha quý vị. Nhưng mà tối ngày hôm nay là mình không thấy ông và đại nhất phu nhân. Tối ngày hôm nay mình không thấy. Và bây giờ cái kiểu ngồi này họ hoàn toàn họ ngồi khác lại với nhau, không giống như trước đây nữa. Event thì không cùng một căn phòng nữa, event không cùng một căn phòng. Mình thấy là bây giờ là về phần tổng thống thì ngồi một nơi, bây giờ mình không thấy phó tổng thống, không giống như trước đây. Trước đây thì ngồi phó tổng thống cũng có mặt luôn, đệ nhất phu nhân cũng có mặt, nhưng mà tối ngày hôm nay là mình không thấy. So far là Trang chưa thấy có phó tổng thống có mặt ngồi trên cái panel như vậy nha quý vị. Thử cái setup này nó hơi khác, bây giờ chắc họ thận trọng hơn, họ không giống như là trước đây nữa. Cái đó là cái mà Trang thấy là hiện nay nó đang xảy ra như vậy đó. Giờ mình sẽ coi những cái bức ảnh, những cái móc xích mà họ đang thời điểm này là cái kiểu giống như là đang chào đón khách đó, để khách vào trong ghế ngồi đâu đó thì bắt đầu Tổng thống Trump sẽ có bài phát biểu. Thì bây giờ họ chỉ ăn chia sẻ với nhau mà thôi, chưa làm gì hết, chưa nói chắc một lát nữa có một lát nữa mà thôi sẽ có cái bài phát biểu của Tổng thống Trump. Thì cái bài phát biểu đó thì cho mình thấy rằng cái tối ngày hôm nay Tổng thống Trump sẽ nói như thế nào nha quý vị. Dạ, mình sẽ đi từ đoạn để cho mình thấy là tới ngay thời điểm này là chưa có những cái sự mà phát biểu. Nhưng mà Trăng tin chắc là một lát nữa Tổng thống Trump là phải có bài phát biểu mà thôi. Tại còn 1 phút nữa nè, trên màn ảnh quý vị thấy đó, còn 1 phút nữa mà thôi để mình là Tổng thống Trump sẽ mọi người vào trong vị trí hết. Rồi, bây giờ mình bắt đầu mình
Welcome back to the 2026 White House Correspondents Dinner. I hope everyone enjoyed their meal.
Bây giờ trở lại.
So,
bây giờ bắt đầu là vô đề.
since Calvin Coolidge became the first president to attend this event in 1924, nearly every sitting president has joined us at some point in their term. The tradition is rooted in a simple principle that a president and the press corps that covers him can share a meal and even a joke. This dinner has never lacked for opinions. I know everyone has a lot of feelings about it, even under normal circumstances, and people ask, should it still exist? But every year, we pack the room. In fact, we just did it twice. Whatever brought you here tonight, this evening is dedicated to the First Amendment and the excellent work of our colleagues and scholars. President Trump, you are joining us tonight for the second time in 3 months, and we don't take that lightly. Thank you.
Công nhận ông Tổng thống Trump này cũng hay ghê nha. cái tư tưởng á, mình chỉ nói về tư tưởng thôi. Một số những phóng viên ngồi ở dưới này đã phải là phóng viên mà kiểu mà thích ổng đâu, nhưng mà ổng cũng phải ngồi. Nhưng mà mình thấy cái kỳ này đó là cái bàn đó nó ngắn lại, nó không có ông J.D. Vance, cũng không có ông Marco Rubio, và cũng không có Big Sách luôn, chỉ có bên phần tổng thống mà thôi. Hình thử kỳ này là chắc là họ những có cái bận việc khác, hoặc là họ không thể nào cho những người mà đóng một cái vai trò trong cái nội các của tổng thống Trump mà ngồi cùng một căn phòng được hết trơn, nhất là ông phó tổng thống. Kỳ này là mình thấy rõ ràng là không có phó tổng thống luôn nha quý vị. Yeah. Không có đệ nhất phu nhân luôn.
Thank you again to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and the White House press team. Thanks to the relentless WHCA board members, our executive director, Steve Thoma, and our general counsel, Simon Lakovich, for your hard work and friendship. I have to say thank you again to my CBS News family for enduring a second round of dinner planning. And of course, my family, I love you so much. Our entertainer, mentalist, Oz Perlman, is also back with us. Thank you, Oz.
Bây giờ đang viết.
For the record, he did guess Caroline's baby's name right last time, and we can't wait to see what you reveal. But you can skip the part where you guess the president's phone number, because half the reporters in this room already have it. Finally, on behalf of the White House Correspondents Association, I also want to thank supporters from around the world, across the political spectrum, who sent well wishes after a shooting interrupted our event in April. Many of you are joining us on live stream, and C-SPAN is the crew as it was that night. Photographers and technicians were under the stairs where the shooter was, but they never stopped rolling their cameras and transmitting live footage despite the circumstances. Thank you. That night tested all of us, but it revealed something worth fighting for. While journalists in the ballroom were gathering facts and getting them to the public, I got a rare glimpse of something few of us ever see in real time. In a holding room, President Trump was huddled with members of his cabinet, asking questions, finding the best way to share the answers with everyone, which is our job description too. I keep coming back to that split screen, not because it was dramatic, but because it quietly proved no matter how complicated or tense the relationship is between the press and the presidency, what we share is far more important than anything else. And that is our duty to serve the American people.
Bà này bà nói hay nha. Dù rằng cái sự khác biệt và có sự căng thẳng giữa báo chí với tổng thống như thế nào, nhưng mà cái buổi dinner hàng năm như vậy đó là sao? Cái điểm quan trọng là phục vụ cho người dân của Mỹ, và người dân của Mỹ phải có quyền biết tất cả những cái phương án, phương cách của chính quyền làm việc.
As our country continues to celebrate 250 years of its extraordinary story, this gathering is further proof that the American press endures with it.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
The White House Correspondents' Dinner was to be a night celebrating the First Amendment and 250 years of surviving, thriving, and overcoming our nation's many unthinkable challenges.
Welcome to the 2026 White House Correspondents' Dinner.
But that celebration was stopped by a single gunman in an apparent attempt to assassinate the president.
I heard the loud bangs that were going off. It was extremely frightening. I was only a few feet away.
We were all told to just get under the tables. And at first, some of the White House officials did too.
A whole rush of people started to come up towards the front door.
On a night when we are thinking about the freedoms in the First Amendment, we must also think about how fragile they are.
And that was
very unexpected.
The president and the White House press corps proved resilient.
This was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did.
So we are together again tonight, proving our resolve and unyielding fortitude, and to celebrate America at 250.
Hello from 1789. I'm James Madison. Yes, that James Madison. I wrote the First Amendment. At the time, we worried a king might control the press. Turns out you're now worried about tweets.
Ông này là Tổng thống James Madison nha quý vị. Ông này là một trong những vị tổng thống. Bây giờ họ phát lại một cái video mà họ đóng lại cái vai trò mà thời kỳ trước đây. Mình nghe.
Algorithms and people yelling on television. Let me clarify the rule. The government doesn't get to shut the press up. Not when it's wrong. Not when it's annoying. And not when it's asking uncomfortable questions.
Cái này là nó nói lên tới cái vấn đề gọi là free press đó, tất nhiên là gọi là tự do báo chí. Mà khi nói tới về phần mà tự do báo chí ở nơi đây thì mình thấy là không phải về vấn đề là những người báo chí đặt câu hỏi và những người báo chí này đặt câu hỏi mà làm cho sốc cái người tổng thống hay những người làm trong chính quyền hay là làm cho khó chịu, nhưng mà bắt buộc phải trả lời tại vì cái đó là phục vụ cho nhân dân của đất nước này là Mỹ.
The First Amendment and the freedom of the press, it is the foundation of our democracy.
The freedom that we have to speak our mind, to share our views, share what we know.
It's just so remarkable that we're able to question our world leaders, question the most powerful man in the world because of the First Amendment.
Hay nha, cái này nó rất là hay. Đúng là nước Mỹ, những cái quốc gia khác họ không có cái chương trình gọi là hiệp hội báo chí mà gặp nhau hàng năm mà để có một cái cuộc mà đối thoại và mình có thể là mình có một cái dinner mà mình có gặp nhau, mình có thể trao đổi với nhau dù rằng trong căn phòng đó có những số mà gọi là báo chí cánh tả thì không thích đi nữa, nhưng mà cái bắt buộc cái truyền thống này nó phải có xảy ra thì nó mới nói lên được cái gọi là tự do báo chí trên đất nước Mỹ. Còn những quốc gia khác mình không thấy nó gọi là dinner, nó gọi là correspondent dinner cho hiệp hội báo chí. Cái đó là cái khác biệt giữa nước Mỹ với toàn những quốc gia trên thế giới này của chúng ta là như vậy đó. Thành thử mình mới thấy là cái nước Mỹ này đặt cái First Amendment, đặt cái tu chính án số 1 là hàng đầu thì làm sao mà gọi là ICC hoặc là lực gọi là quốc tế hay là tòa án quốc tế có thể vượt qua nổi. Tại vì họ đã đặt cái này là trên hết tất cả rồi. Thì quý vị thấy là cái phải nói khi mình coi những cái này đó cho Trang hiểu được đó là mình mới thấy được cái vĩ đại của nước Mỹ này của chúng ta.
As we mark the 250th anniversary of our birth, I'm hopeful that people throughout the country will come together to discuss the importance of this history and to appreciate even more what our ancestors did to secure our liberty and freedoms, including freedom of the press.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Well, I see we're trying a new experiment this morning. I hope it doesn't prove to be a disturbing influence.
Our goal is to try to rock the boat, and we're supported by the First Amendment. I hope Ike would be proud of us.
Taking control of Iran's oil?
We have a very vigorous group of people representing all different points of view, including a lot of the foreign press.
Daqui a pouco, o presidente Donald Trump.
I just told him I've got to come over and see the fake news. Let's go.
The presidents throughout history have complained about how they're treated in the press.
We don't stop the publication of any papers. We don't fine anyone for something they say.
And that's okay. That's part of the process.
Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?
Yeah, I'm not confident. Hey, what the hell? What do you do over there? So when did I say I was confident?
I don't want to be back at the White House today. It's a young person's game. And I have great admiration for the reporters who are there because they have a tougher job than I ever had.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
I must say, today, folks, the reporters at the White House, my hat's off to you.
Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled. Whenever we face pushback from a politician or even from a president, it's not about us as a journalist. It's about the person we're coving.
Well, I'm not a big fan of yours either, so
I understand.
To be honest.
So let me ask you a question if I can. Our job is to just keep asking tough questions.
Our founders were often distraught about the press, the highly partisan media of their time. Yet Jefferson famously championed a free press, noting that he preferred newspapers without a government to a government without newspapers.
Wow.
That's right. I favored a free press while my predecessor here, John Adams, signed a sedition act that could imprison journalists for saying anything malicious against the government. I ended that unconstitutional law when I took office, and thankfully, it's never returned. Can't blame a guy for trying.
So which is it? Are you winding this down or are you escalating?
I can't tell you.
Whenever there's a crisis, that's the time that people tune in.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dan Rather with CBS.
Và nó là hay nhất của nước Mỹ này của chúng ta, không cần biết là chính phủ nào, không cần biết thời tổng thống nào, nhưng mà cái gọi là tự do báo chí hoặc là cái quyền lực của những nhà báo chí là phải làm đúng theo cái phương cách và họ phải cho họ có những cái quyền đó, và đồng thời họ phải hỏi những cái câu hỏi rất là, phải nói là rất là sốc, mà bắt buộc những người gọi là phục vụ cho quốc gia hay là làm việc cho quốc gia phải có câu trả lời, thì cái đó nó mới mang lại thật sự cái tự do cho một đất nước. Trang nói, Trang thấy hay qua làm những cái chương trình này từ xưa tới giờ có thể là mình không hiểu hết tại sao cái buổi mà gọi là buổi dinner, buổi tiệc, yến tiệc của mà Hiệp hội Nhà báo với Nhà Trắng quan trọng nó như thế nào. Thì bây giờ mình mới thấy là cái quan trọng vẫn là nó nói đến một cái điểm ở nơi đây là tự do báo chí là chỗ này đó.
Yes, he is.
The effects of Watergate were beginning to corner President Richard Nixon. If the president thought you were going to ask a question he didn't want to ask, he would try to throw you off balance right at the beginning.
Are you running for something? No, sir, Mr. President, are you?
Mr. President, in talking about the continuing recession tonight, you have blamed mistakes of the past. You have blamed the Congress. Does any of the blame belong to you?
Yes, because for many years I was a Democrat.
Why did you really want to go to war? When we push them to answer questions on the record, they have an opportunity to explain their reasoning, explain their thinking, explain their goals.
Can you tell the country, sir, why you are content with all the fanfare around this deal to leave the conscience of this nation and the strength of this nation unaccounted for in relation to these four Americans?
The notion that I'm content, Major, that's nonsense. And you should know better.
Hello, everybody. Have a good trip.
Well, you can't fall asleep on Air Force One because you never know when the president's going to come back and take questions.
It's going to be a very long trip, right?
Dan Compton, who's been with the president all day, is on the phone from Nebraska.
On 9/11, I was part of that small travel pool that the White House agreed to take on what was a 10-hour odyssey.
The president might be a target as well, and that is why he has come to as secure a place as he could.
The White House made sure that we had phone connections and that we had access to the president. It worked exactly the way it should.
So I dialed President Trump's number and he picked up, just like anybody else.
I just got off the phone with President Trump. It was a roughly 9-minute phone interview.
I've covered 5 different presidents. I have never seen one other than Donald Trump who regularly takes phone calls from reporters.
New media is massively important to our country.
Here's what you missed if you weren't tuned in.
We utilize social media to help people understand what we're talking about, breaking it down in digestible ways so that they can understand even the more nuanced news that's going on here at the White House. And today we went through the Rose Garden into the...
Này hay, chính xác hay. Phải nói là Tổng thống Trump là một tổng thống duy nhất mà có thể là cho thoải mái cho báo chí. Mà để có báo chí mà đặt câu hỏi hoặc là báo chí muốn bất cứ những cái thắc mắc nào, Tổng thống Trump thoải mái. Có một số tổng thống là coi như là không có comfortable, không cảm thấy thoải mái khi mà báo chí đặt quá nhiều câu hỏi. Nhưng Tổng thống Trump là bất cứ câu hỏi nào, ông sẵn sàng, ông cũng trả lời hết, dù rằng truyền thông cánh tả cánh hữu hay là như thế nào, bất cứ những câu hỏi nào thì dĩ nhiên hỏi ông trả lời thì ông trả lời, thì ông phang thì ông cũng phang thôi. đó là cá tính của tổng thống Trump.
The Oval Office. Every single outlet that's at the White House is shaping the national news. All of these outlets have a place here, and all of our audiences deserve to know what's going on in our country and in this White House.
I don't think it's unusual for a president to be criticized. That seems to be one of the things that go with the job.
As we look back over history, almost without exception, the better presidents at the end of their term have actually thanked the press in the spirit of, you had your job to do, I had my job to do, and that's the way the country goes together.
Truth be told, in the greater scheme of things, you are, I hesitate to say this, more essential to that common pursuit than I am. And that's why freedom of the press is and must always be above politics.
My friends say, what is it like to deal with the press corps? So these are just people that are trying to do the best they possibly can.
You're not supposed to be sycophants. You're supposed to be skeptics. You're supposed to ask me tough questions and make sure that we are accountable to the people who sent us here. And you have done that.
I wonder whether the founding fathers might look with delight at the kind of vibrant conversations that Americans today are having in the national media, in social media. It's a very vibrant conversation that has its roots 250 years ago.
The noise you experience today, though at times overwhelming, is not necessarily a sign of decay. It may in part be the sound of liberty, exercising itself somewhat chaotically, to be sure. The true danger lies not in a press that is too free, but in one that forgets why it was made free at all. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and thanks for helping us reach 250 years of American democracy.
Chính xác luôn, cái câu nói này mà Trang nói hoài luôn là chính xác luôn. Câu nói này đó là Việt Nam mình hay nói từ ngữ là gì? Tự do quá. There's nothing free. Mình Trang bắt lại cái câu nói này nè để cho quý vị xem. Cái câu nói này là cái câu nói chính xác luôn, không thể nào khác hơn được nữa. Tại vì khi mà cái câu nói mà được thực hành là tự do báo chí, hay là tự do về mà quyền của báo chí, hay là gọi là quá tự do, thì mình đang đi sai lệch hướng, mà cái con đường mình đang đi nó không đúng theo cái con đường mà của nước Mỹ đi. Rồi mà khi mà ông cha đẻ mà họ đóng kịch lại cái mạng cha đẻ, mà họ viết lại cái script đó, thì họ nói chính xác giống như Trang nói nhiều lần đó. Nếu mà thật cái đó, nếu mà không có cái gì mà nếu mà nói tự do báo chí mà qua cái chữ quá nhiều free á, nó không phải là tự do báo chí nữa. Là cái quan trọng là cái chỗ đó đó nha quý vị. Trang lỡ mất một cái đoạn này, đợi Trang một giây. Đợi Trang một giây. Đó là một trong những mà Trang cho rằng là khá là quan trọng, mà đôi lúc mình quên mất cái ngôn ngữ, mà khi mình sử dụng ngôn ngữ đó mà mình lại không sử dụng nó đúng cách, đúng hướng đó, thì bắt đầu mình sẽ bị đi lệch cái vấn đề. Mà khi mình đi lệch cái vấn đề rồi là nó rất là khó mà mình chỉnh lại cái tư tưởng. Một hai cái tư tưởng đó nó đã bị xâm nhập. Nó gọi giống như là anh Bùi Hữu Liêm anh hay nói là cái gọi là woke á, gọi là tư tưởng woke. Mà cái tư tưởng woke đó nó không thể nào mà nó làm con người ta khác nhau được hết trơn. Khác biệt là cái chỗ đó đó nha quý vị. Dạ. Đợi Trang một giây, Dạ, đợi Trang một giây. Sorry nha quý vị. Ok, không biết tại sao đây. Ok, Trang phải bắt lại cho, tại vì khi mà Trang lùa nó qua thì nó quá nhanh, mà khi nó quá nhanh như vậy đó, thì là nó bị trục trặc. Thử khi mà nó bị trục trặc thì Trang phải đi lại một cái bước khác, nó mất nhiều thời gian cho Trang như vậy, là tại nó phải đúng cái screen của nó đó quý vị, đúng cái screen của nó thì mới là được. Ok, bây giờ Trang bắt lại được rồi nè. Ok, rồi mình nghe.
The true danger lies not in a press that is too free, but in one that forgets why it was made free at all. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and thanks for helping us reach 250 years of American democracy. Cheers.
Nó mới là đúng thật sự là nó gọi là free press đó. It's not too press to be free.
Politics.
My friends would say, what is it like to deal with the press corps? I said, these are just people that are trying to do the best they possibly can.
You're not supposed to be sycophants. You're supposed to be skeptics. You're supposed to ask me tough questions and make sure that we are accountable to the people who sent us here. And you have done that.
I wonder whether the founding fathers might look with delight at the kind of vibrant conversations that Americans today are having in the national media, in social media. It's a very vibrant conversation that has its roots 250 years ago.
The noise you experience today, though at times overwhelming, is not necessarily a sign of decay. It may in part be the sound of liberty exercising itself somewhat chaotically, to be sure. The true danger lies not in a press that is too free.
Cái nguy hiểm nhất không phải là báo chí is too free. Cái đó là cái nguy hiểm nha, không phải là báo chí tự do quá đó, nói cách khác.
But in one that forgets why it was made free at.
Nhưng mà mình quên mất là lý do tại sao mình được gọi là free, tất nhiên là được tự do. Mình quên mất cái đó.
All. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Cái đó là cái câu nói mà tự do quá, mà thường xuyên người Việt mình hay dùng danh cụm từ là tự do quá đó. Mình quên mất mình thật sự lý do tại sao mình có tự do. Cái này là cái script này mà Trang nói rất là khá là nhiều khi mà mỗi một lần tranh luận về tự do quá là như vậy đó. Cái này mình phải hiểu được là cái đó là thật sự why mình được cái free đó đó. Mình nghe.
And thanks for helping us reach 250 years of American democracy. Cheers.
Thank you, founders. What a powerful reminder. By the way, that was AI, in case you missed it. What a powerful reminder that generation after generation, White House correspondents have the privilege of writing the first draft of history. Serving as president of our association has been one of the great honors of my life. And as my final act, I was determined to carry out one more event to highlight the strength of our press corps. I am honored to preside over this dinner, but I do have a fact check because technically my last day in office was last week. Our next chapter is in amazing hands with one of the fiercest women I have ever known. She is my wonderful friend, my partner in 2026-2027 WHCA President Jackie Heinrich, who I've asked to help present two very special awards. Jackie.
Thank you, Ouija, and good evening, everyone. Before anything else, I want to recognize Ouija Jiang for her leadership, her unwavering commitment to this press corps. Ouija, you have really represented this association with such professionalism. There we go. There we go.
là chủ tịch đó, người ta qua cũng giỏi, chắc qua cũng giỏi, nhưng chả mà dùng quá giỏi đó, mà mấy người này mà respect cái công việc họ làm đó là cũng hay lắm, chắc qua phải giỏi dữ lắm luôn.
And she has represented this association with such professionalism, integrity, grit, and I am so deeply grateful, not just for your example, but also more so for your friendship. And to our members, I am humbled that you've put your trust in me to lead the White House Correspondents Association for the next year. And I look forward to working alongside all of you as we continue our shared mission, pursuing the facts without fear or favor, and exercising the freedoms protected by the First Amendment in service of the American people. The attempt on President Trump's life last April was a sobering reminder that democracy is not immune to violence, and the freedoms that we cherish can never be taken for granted. Political violence must have no home in America. And journalism can serve us well to broaden understanding, to shed light, and to inform our decisions, especially in this age of fast-moving information that can reinforce our divisions. And we are grateful to have President Trump here tonight taking part in.
My meeting notes went from this to this after I started using granola. I'm in meetings all day and trying to take notes during calls and.
Thank you, President Trump. The events of that night also revealed the resilience of this press corps, the all-American sense of resolve that no act of intimidation will silence us, and the endurance of the First Amendment. And we're gathered here tonight because we believe that a free press always finds a way forward. And it is in that spirit that the WHCA Service Award was established to recognize exceptional service to this association, and it is fitting that one of the two awards that we are giving tonight goes to the staff of the Washington Hilton. They are hospitality professionals who always put service first. As harrowing events unfolded that night, their courage was on full display. The kitchen workers, the ballroom wait staff remained at their posts. When President Trump urged that the evening should continue, they prepared to serve more than 2,600 guests while they were still processing the shock alongside all of us. And when the Secret Service made the necessary call to postpone the remainder of the program, they immediately pivoted, preserving every unserved meal and donating them to local shelters. Many of these dedicated professionals have worked dozens of White House Correspondents' Dinners since this event first moved to the Washington Hilton in 1968. And 58 years later, we are deeply grateful for their partnership. We are proud of the history that we've built together, and we are excited to return to the Washington Hilton next year, stronger than ever. Please welcome the Washington Hilton's General Manager, Ken Jarka, and Catering Manager, Karen Fiketis, to accept the WHCA President's Award for Exceptional Service on behalf of the entire Washington Hilton team.
Bây giờ là họ trao giải đó nha quý vị, những người mà làm được việc đó. Cái này cũng dễ thương nha. Đây là cái này mới đó. Chị Phương, quý vị đừng quên subscribe, like.
Congratulations, and thank you, Jackie. I also want to thank the staff and security team right here at the Waldorf Astoria for putting so much time and care into helping us plan this event in a very short notice. That evening in April did not unfold as planned, but it ended exactly like it was supposed to. 2,600 guests, plus hundreds of others who were working that night, got to go home unharmed. And that was made possible by the brave men and women of law enforcement and the United States Secret Service. On behalf of every person who was inside that ballroom and every family who got to hear their loved ones say, "Don't worry, I'm okay," we thank you. One officer placed himself directly in harm's way and engaged the armed suspect. Even after gunfire struck his protective vest, he stayed in the fight and the attacker was stopped. I know many of us have wondered, what if he hadn't acted in that exact way? What if he had waited a few more seconds? His courage that night reflects the core values of the Secret Service: duty, justice, courage, honesty, and loyalty, and as a commitment to safeguarding his country and community. They also shaped his career, first as an infantryman and section leader in the United States Marine Corps, and since 2022 as an officer of the Secret Service, protecting the White House complex and our nation's leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the WHCA President's Award for Exceptional Service to Officer Victor Gonzalez of the United States Secret Service.
Đêm đó là anh hùng của đêm đó đó nha. Giải anh hùng.
Thank you again, Officer Gonzalez, and to all the law enforcement officials who work around the clock to keep us safe. Democracy is defended in many ways, sometimes with a badge, sometimes with a notebook and a deadline. The White House Correspondents Association started as a group of 50 reporters, and I am proud that our membership hit a record number in 2025, more than 1,000 people, including many from new media outlets. Our press corps covers the presidency at all hours of the day in their personal lives. They miss out on a lot so that the world doesn't have to. If you are a past WHCA president here tonight, please stand. Former board members, please stand. Our chief White House correspondents, please stand. All current White House correspondents, reporters, producers, photographers, visual and audio journalists, please stand. And tonight, I also want to salute our colleagues in the Pentagon Press Corps. Your work is invaluable, especially as our nation is at war. Please stand. And now we turn our attention to future White House correspondents, our incredible scholarship award winners. Please welcome our Scholarship Committee Chair, who also serves as the WHCA Secretary, Brian Bennett of MS Now.
Trân thích cái
Hello everybody.
Trân thích cái cách mà làm này nhiều hơn là cái cách mà khi mà Đảng Dân Chủ tổ chức nha. Cái cách này nó more cân bằng hơn. Khi Đảng Dân Chủ nó lại khác, nó có một cái tinh thần khác. Cái này cái Trân thích hơn. Cái bầu không khí nó khác. Yeah.
Everybody, it means so much to be back together tonight. This is the part of the dinner each year that I look forward to the most. We have an incredible group of young journalists with us who are the recipients of this year's White House Correspondents Association scholarships. Since 1991, the WHCA has awarded scholarships to hundreds of journalism students. This year, we are helping fund the education of 30. Let me pull out my remarks here.
cho giải thưởng scholarship khoảnh.
30 students from 16 colleges and universities. They are from schools all over the country. Arizona, California, Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, Missouri, New Jersey, New York,
That's a good one. I thought it was
Ohio,
MS now.
Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Virginia, Washington, D.C. We have important partners who extend the reach of our giving, and you all are a part of that. The WHCA and our partners went to great lengths to make sure as many of our scholars as possible could be here tonight with us. And I'm happy to say that 26 out of the 30 of them were able to return for the second dinner. Some came back to DC from far away. Many were already here in Washington for the summer for journalism internships. When the April dinner was interrupted by the shooting, a lot of the scholars did what journalists do in dangerous situations. They started reporting, and they reported for their college newspapers. They are already showing their commitment to the work that we are all here to celebrate. Our dinner is the primary fundraiser for our association and our scholarships, and because of that generosity, we were able to increase the amount of several scholarships this year. Thank you for being a part of this and supporting this work. And we also want to say thanks to the America 250 Commission for your generous donation to our scholarship fund. The scholars not only receive financial help to pay for school. Earlier this year, they had a tour of the White House, and they met with White House officials. They spent an afternoon with dozens of senior journalists who cover the White House, and they were paired with mentors, working journalists from the White House Correspondents Association who make a year-long commitment to offer advice and encouragement. We all had people along the way who helped make us better. And the WHCA Scholarship Program is a way that our association gives back and helps strengthen a new generation of journalists. Because of the commitment and your support, past WHCA scholarship recipients are now doing amazing things in journalism. We tracked some of them down to tell us about their work today.
Being a White House Correspondents Association scholar opened up a new world for me.
Being a scholar meant that I could have the financial freedom to do what I wanted.
Being a WHCA scholar gave me access to so many mentors and a world of opportunities here in Washington, D.C.
It gave me the chance to connect with other journalists, other members of the association.
Journalism is important, and especially here at the White House, where every day, every hour, every minute even matters. The decisions that are made here impact people across the country and around the world.
The idea that you get to be a part of the first draft of history, it all is extremely inspiring and drives me as a journalist.
There are so many pinch me moments covering the White House, watching world leaders arrive here, walking into the press briefing room, getting to see Marine One land on the South Lawn, and getting to ask the President of the United States a question directly. Being selected as a White House correspondent.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down.
Gave a toast to the freedom of the press, and also as Kim Kardashian strutted across the runway and posed for pictures among a room full of talented journalists.
The stars, the outfits, the photographs. And I remember too, that was the year that Brittany Griner had just returned home, and so being able to see her was really emotional.
I was also inspired looking around at all the different scholars and how excited they were, and I think their excitement influenced my excitement about it.
And it really was an eye-opening experience.
Công nhận nước Mỹ này đầy sức sống đó quý vị, không cần biết ngành nghề nào về phần kỹ thuật, khoa học kỹ thuật, về phần medical, về nhiều phần khác nhau, mà thậm chí về phần báo chí. Họ encourage những thế hệ trẻ, họ giúp làm sao thế hệ trẻ phát triển được thì nó mới mang lại cái sức sống của nước Mỹ này, thì mình mới thấy là nước Mỹ này vĩ đại. Mình chưa thấy những cái quốc gia nào mà có thể làm được giống như nước Mỹ hết trơn, kể cả Anh Quốc hoặc là Canada. Nó làm, ví dụ mình nói là Trung Quốc hay là Nga, mình đâu làm gì mà có thể hoạt động giống như hệ thống Mỹ này của chúng ta. Trong khi đó mà đảng Dân Chủ á, hiện nay là giống như ông Mendani đó, là đi theo cái con đường hướng là giống như là muốn xé bỏ những cái gì mà lịch sử của nước Mỹ này để lại, mà đang vận động, tức như họ muốn làm sập đổ đi cái nước Mỹ này của chúng ta. Mình thấy cái đó là cái họ đang đi một cái con đường rất là tiêu cực cho nước Mỹ. Mình thấy cái này là khi mà chiếu lên những cái hình ảnh này trở lại, mình mới thấy là sức sống của nước Mỹ vĩ đại.
About, just how important this role is. This White House press corps is not a mythical world. It exists and is something that I can aspire to be a part of.
And I owe a lot of credit to the WHCA for getting me here. So many journalists involved in this organization were willing to chat with me, to invest in me. And it's a cycle because of what they were able to pass on. I hope that I can play a role in doing that for the next generation as well.
I can tell you, this year's scholarship recipients are also really impressive. And they're all sitting right over there. Let's meet them. Please stand as I read your name. From American University, Louisa Clausen. From Arizona State University, George Headley, Elisa Horton, and Kyle Sikinski. From Hampton University, Kristen Fluellen and Jade Abubakar. From Howard University, Tatiana Allen and Madison Maynard and Sanyu Lakoma. From Iowa State University, Eric Anderson. From Northwestern University, Jacques Aburizik, Caitlin Bender-Thomas, Samantha Freeman. From Iowa University, Nyla Gilbert, Aiden Ryan, Emily Stokes. From Princeton University, Ina Marcia. From Sagrado Corazon University in Puerto Rico, Iana Sotovalle. From Syracuse University, Ben Bassick. From the University of California, Berkeley, Haeyun Cho. From the University of Kansas, Julia Hansen. From the University of Maryland, Laura Charleston, Lillian Gray, Dana Matthews, Ashley Nera. From the University of Missouri, Callie Fowler, Tyler Kirwan, Fletcher Mantooth. And from the University of Tennessee, Abigail Fanning. Congratulations, scholars. Please be seated. There's one more scholarship that requires special attention. This year, we've added a new scholarship at New York University that has been named in honor of the legendary CBS News White House correspondent, Mark Knoller. As you all know, Mark passed away in August. And if you needed to know how many times the president had been to Camp David, or went on vacation, or played golf, Mark Knoller always had the facts. And he was always willing to share. To remember Mark and to commemorate the new WHCA scholarship at his alma mater, NYU, here is a tribute put together by his friend and CBS News chief correspondent, Major Garrett.
I'm Mark Knoller, CBS News, and you could say that I'm kind of the CBS News numbers man at the White House.
You could say that, but that's less than half the story.
Can you justify your role?
Mark did keep a log of presidential actions, everything from speeches and press conferences to vacations and foreign trips.
By my count, President Obama had 65 domestic trips in 2010, spanning 104 days.
Mueller's numbers were so precise, White House aides used them to backfill or correct their own records. Historians and journalists came to rely on Mueller's database, which he never hoarded, always shared.
Mark Mueller.
Mark Mueller.
Mueller considered that database the heartbeat of the presidency. To understand and cover a president, you had to know and remember all of a president's actions.
President Obama does like to play golf. Since taking office, he has played golf 57 times.
I'll be glad to answer a couple of questions. Mark Mueller, are you with us?
You bet.
Those who watched Mueller work were left in awe. Every White House reporter logs long.
Cái đặc biệt của ông này đó là tất nhiên là ổng chuyên môn, ổng collect data, tất nhiên ổng chuyên môn, ổng thu thập những cái tài liệu, không cần biết tài liệu gì, từ rằng tài liệu từ đi vacation, tổng thống đi đâu chơi, tổng thống đến golf bao nhiêu lần, tổng thống ăn dinner với ai, hay tổng thống đi chơi, tổng thống du lịch, tổng thống đi ngủ thế nào chẳng đó, thí dụ. Mà ổng là cái người là ổng thu thập tài liệu, mà khi mà những người phóng viên khác á, mà muốn cần tài liệu những cái đó mà chính xác như vậy là tìm tới ổng, là tất nhiên là sao ổng chia sẻ. Nói cái khác là ổng là con mọt mà đi tìm tài liệu, rồi bắt đầu ổng dự trữ nó lại, thì bắt đầu ổng đưa ra cho những cái outlet khác đó. Đó là cái cá tính của cái anh chàng này, phóng viên này.
Long hours, none logged as many as Mueller.
I'm one of those lucky people that gets to work at something he loves doing. And so I really don't feel as though I'm sacrificing anything, spending long days here.
Prolific and accurate reporting mark Mueller's hallmarks, which serve the presidency and the nation well.
We are honored to be able to add a new scholarship in Mark's name in partnership with NYU's Arthur L. Clarke Journalism Institute. And even more happy to announce that the first recipient of the Mark Mueller Scholarship is Avril Silva. Please stand, Avril.
Wow. Hay ha, Mỹ này hay quá. Ông Mark Mueller, ổng đã qua đời rồi nha quý vị. Nhưng mà tất nhiên họ dùng cái tên của ổng và họ
Ladies and gentlemen, this year's WHCA Scholarship students.
Ông Mark Mueller đó là ổng không còn sống nữa, ổng qua đời rồi, nhưng mà họ tạo cái quỹ, nó gọi là cái quỹ Mark Mueller. Thì ông Mark Mueller đó là cái gương đó, cái inspiration, cái làm gương cho giới trẻ. Thì từ cái quỹ đó bắt đầu cho những các em mà đi học mà ngành nghề về mà phóng sự đó, hay là về mà truyền thông đó, thì các em đó là được cái hưởng cái tiền mà gọi là cái tiền mà scholarship. Và từ cái quỹ của Mark Mueller họ ghi nhận, tất nhiên là những người mà nằm trong một cái nghề mà truyền thông đó thì ghi nhận là ông Mark Mueller là một cái người là chuyên môn chia sẻ tất cả những thông tin mà ông ta có được cho mọi người dùng. Thì họ đã lập được cái quỹ đó với cái tên, cái nhãn hàng tên của ông ta.
When you see them tonight, offer them advice and offer them jobs. Many of them are already doing amazing journalism. They're all superstars. Thank you very much.
Please welcome the chief correspondent for ABC News, the co-anchor of ABC's This Week, and a former president of the White House Correspondents Association, Jonathan Karl.
Not quite yet, actually. Sorry about that. John? You're gonna have to wait a second. We have a lot to celebrate this evening, everyone. And we want to give a special thanks to those who value the work that we do, the freedoms that we stand for, including Paramount, the Emerson Collective, and the Knight Foundation. All of them made donations to the WHCA after our April dinner was interrupted. And it is, by the way, our one fundraiser of the year. Their support will help our scholarship programs and our general operations in the next year. Thank you all very much. All right, now it is my pleasure to introduce two former White House correspondents who have served this association with distinction. They exemplify excellence in our field. They will help us recognize tonight's award winners. Jonathan Karl is the Chief Washington correspondent for ABC News. He is the co-anchor of This Week, and he is a former president of the WHCA. He's got over 3 decades of experience in Washington. He's covered 4 presidents, 14 press secretaries, and just about every major beat in the city. And through it, he has earned many of journalism's highest honors, including some of the very awards that we are presenting tonight. But first, to recognize our journalism awards, we have one of the country's defining voices with us tonight, Wolf Blitzer. Wolf is CNN's lead political anchor. He's the host of The Situation Room, and he's been a staple of CNN's political coverage since 1990, earning a reputation for steady, authoritative reporting on some of the most consequential moments in modern history, and earning
How do you get a brand new AC system in SoCal from just $125 per month or 0% financing for 18 months? At Eco Air Heating and Cooling, we make it simple for homeowners across Orange County and the Inland Empire. Right now, save big and get a new AC system fully installed from just $125 per month. Or you can save even more with 0% financing for 18 months. Take advantage of this limited time offer.
Thank you very much for that really nice introduction. I'm so grateful. I'm so honored to be with all of you this evening. Each year, a panel of independent judges reviewed dozens of entries for the 5 major WHCA Journalism Awards. And it's my honor tonight to announce this year's winners. And I'd like to point out that this is really a special night for me. I don't know if many of you were at the first White House Correspondents Association dinner in April, but for me, it was very memorable indeed. And I can report this time, after the first course, I did not go to the men's room. I've been to this dinner over these many, many years. I spent 7 years as a White House correspondent. And I just want to remember with real excitement and passion who often came with me to these dinners over these many years. And that was the man who hired me at CNN, the man who created CNN, the late Ted Turner, who recently passed away. And he was not only a mentor and a good friend, but he loved journalism. When he hired me, he said, "Remember, Wolf, we're the cable news, capital N, capital E, capital W, capital S network. This is where the news comes first, and don't forget that. Forget about your own personal opinions. Just report the news fairly and accurately, and if you can, do it first." And that's what I've been trying to do over all of these years. So let's remember Ted Turner, what he did for not just for CNN, but for CNN and all of the news organizations over these many, many years. The Aldo Beckman Award for Overall Excellence in White House Coverage, named for the late Chicago Tribune correspondent and former association president Aldo Beckman, goes to, and let's give him a big round of applause, Josh Dawsey of the Wall Street Journal.
Mình để ý những người này họ nói chuyện họ có những cái joke rất là dry. Họ có những cái câu chuyện giống như họ cái kiểu giống như là chọc cười theo cái kiểu khẩn á, cái kiểu hơi mà.
The judges said Josh Dawsey shows us how power works inside the presidency. And over the past year, his reporting has revealed how decisions are made, who influences them, and how power is exercised at the highest levels. Josh Dawsey went far beyond the deluge of breaking news to offer invaluable insights that can only result from deeply sourced enterprise reporting. In the tradition of Aldo Beckman, he exemplifies integrity, persistence, and a steadfast commitment to holding power to account. Ladies and gentlemen, the WHCA is pleased to give the Aldo Beckman Award to Josh Dawsey. let's continue with the awards. Thank you. The WHCA gives out 2 awards for reporting under deadline pressure, one for print and one for broadcast. This year's print winner is Amr Madhani and Zeke Miller of the Associated Press. When sources leaked that Trump administration officials were attempting to purge the National Security Council of staff deemed not sufficiently aligned with the president's agenda, Madhani and Miller quickly moved to verify the claim. They uncovered an unprecedented vetting process. NSC staffers were asked about their past political contributions, voting records, and social media posts as a gauge of loyalty to the president. Ultimately, more than 150 NSC aides were removed, resulting in the loss of considerable foreign policy expertise. The story that Madhani and Miller produced is as consequential as it is revelatory. Please welcome Zeke Miller accepting the award on behalf of the team. Now the Broadcast Award for Excellence Under Deadline Pressure. And this year's winner is my colleague and very good friend, Caitlin Collins of CNN. Reporting by CNN's Caitlin Collins on a historic showdown in the Oval Office between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky launched a memorable day of nonstop insight and analysis, including her exclusive interview with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Judges were awed by the depth of knowledge, access, and context that Caitlin brought to coverage of a meeting that unraveled before the world's eyes. The WHCA is pleased to honor the deadline reporting of CNN's Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin là ông này là ông chửi lên chửi xuống luôn nha quý vị. Nhưng mà bên đài CNN là recognize cô này là một trong những người giỏi đó. Nhưng mà Trâm thích cái chương trình như vậy nè. Thay vì cái chương trình chỉ trích nhau, đây là một cái chương trình mà giúp mình nâng đỡ lên, nó dù rằng khác biệt nó như thế nào. Trâm thích những cái chương trình như vậy đó quý vị. Cái này là cái như thấy nó giá trị chứ không phải chương trình của thời của Obama. Dù rằng tổng thống
Let's give Caitlin another big round of applause. And now the award for excellence in presidential news coverage by visual journalists. This award recognizes a video or photojournalist for covering the presidency at the White House or in the field. And this year's award goes to Andrew Harnick of Getty Images. He captured the moment an Oval Office visitor collapsed during an event. And from the judges, they say this: through sharp timing, layered composition, and visual irony, this photograph expertly documents a true split-screen moment in real time. The president's orientation and posture inadvertently echo the statue to his right, while the other half of the frame is defined by movement. A truly striking image of contrast, skillfully captured in a chaotic moment. Please join me in congratulating Getty Images photographer Andrew Harnick.
Cái này nó hay một cái đó là nó đưa lên những cái đài truyền thông gọi là CNN, CBS, ABC thí dụ, mà trong những cái đài truyền thông của họ đó là họ được quyền recognize trong cái buổi dinner này, trong cái buổi mà yến tiệc này, trong cái báo chí hình thử họ được recognize, mà mỗi một cái channel họ có những cái nhân viên giỏi á, để họ recognize, mà cái này là Trang chưa thấy qua trong những cái Correspondents Dinner khác nha. Đây là lần đầu tiên Trang thấy đó. Cái đó là cái điểm son mà làm sao giúp cái gọi là tự do báo chí truyền thông một cách thoải mái, và nó không mang lại cái cực tính nó không mang lại cái cực tính trong cái buổi dinner như thế này. Đây là cái điểm mà Trăng cho hay.
Who also represents still photographers on the WHCA board.
Chính xác, giải lấu cá, chính xác. Yeah.
There are more. And now the Katharine Graham Award for Courage and Accountability, named for the legendary Washington Post publisher, and it comes with a prize of $10,000. This year's award goes to the Wall Street Journal. The Journal's courageous reporting on President Trump's past relationship with financier Jeffrey Epstein triggered the release of the so-called Epstein files, thousands of documents that might otherwise have remained hidden from the public. And despite the president's threat of a lawsuit, the Journal published a story about a provocative letter to Epstein bearing President Trump's signature. Trump quickly filed a $20 billion lawsuit against the Journal, revealing reporter Khadija Safdar's home address. Her family had to be relocated. The Journal was kicked off of Air Force One, but the reporters continue to file revelatory stories. Please welcome the winners of the Katharine Graham Award from the Wall Street Journal. Khadija Safdar, Sadie
Cái này là
Gurman,
cái ông Trump ông
Annie
chuyện này nha. Nhưng mà cái này mình Trăng giải thích cái này nè, cái này mắc cười là chỗ này nè. Mắc cười là cái giải này là họ được giải là coi như cái giải mà giống như là khui về cái vụ mà Epstein qua, dù là đúng hay là sai mình không biết, nhưng mà tổng thống Trump làm gì giờ tổng thống Trump kiện trên có cơ sở, chẳng nói thí dụ như vậy đó phải không? Nhưng mà cái encourage ở nơi đây đó, cái encouraging ở nơi đây mà mình thấy rõ ràng là làm sao là khi mà những người này mà họ ngồi lại với nhau đó, họ có những cái giải thưởng như vậy, nhưng mà cái này là cái encouraging là bên ông Wolf này đó, ổng dám nói lên được cái sự thật là tại sao cái người này làm một cái phóng sự nó như thế nào đó, có một cái sự tiếng vang ồn ào, tổng thống Trump rốt cuộc phải thưa kiện cái đài truyền thông đó, nhưng mà rồi sao? Nhưng mà rồi là những người này nó tạo ra được cái rợn sóng đó. Thì cái đó là họ cũng được cái giải trong cái gọi là cái giải mà giật tiếp á, thí dụ như vậy, chẳng nói thí dụ như vậy đó. Nhưng mà còn cái chuyện mà tổng thống Trump mà kiện cái đài truyền thông đó thì cái đó là một cái câu chuyện khác. Thành ra nếu mà người Việt mình á thì mình sẽ không bao giờ thích, sẽ không chơi, thí dụ sẽ không chơi. Nhưng mà cái này là nó chơi mà nó gọi là nước Mỹ là như vậy đó, nước Mỹ là việc chuyện nào ra chuyện đó. Hai cái khác nhau thì cái đó là cái khác biệt mà cho chúng ta thấy nước Mỹ vĩ đại là như vậy đó, sẵn sàng. Ok, có dũa nhau, có đục nhau như thế nào, nhưng mà giải là giải, và theo cái tinh thần gọi là báo chí truyền thống, dù là sai hay là chặt là cái quyền đó quyền của pháp lý, mà có đó pháp lý sẽ lo, thắng hay thua là cũng là thuộc về pháp lý tòa án mà thôi, chứ nó không nằm trong cái cương diện của giải thưởng. Nhưng mà cái này đó là cái hay cái chỗ đó, cái mắc cười là cái chỗ này, mà cái này phải nói là nước Mỹ gọi là free press, tự do báo chí là chỗ đó đó. Mình thấy rõ ràng. Mà đa phần những quốc gia khác làm sao sẽ cho rằng cái này là rất là cá nhân và họ sẽ không thích nói lên, nhưng mà dám can đảm để được nói lên như vậy là Trang thấy là cái hay.
Linsky, Josh Dawsey again, Alex Leary, Rebecca Ballhouse, and Ryan Barber. Their colleague Joe Palazzolo could not attend tonight.
Công nhận ông Trump ông cũng tiếu ghê luôn á quý vị ha.
The Collier Prize for State Government Accountability is presented by the University of Florida College of Journalism and Communications. And this is the award's 7th year at dinner, and it comes with a check for $25,000. It's a lot of money. This year's award goes to Care 11 in Minneapolis for its investigation, Housing Hustle. The investigation exposed a massive organized fraud scheme within Minnesota's Housing Stabilization Services Program, a Medicaid-funded safety net meant to help people with disabilities and those facing homelessness find and keep housing. Reporter A.J. Legault uncovered ethical and oversight breaches at the highest levels. The investigation drove sweeping...
To be honest, sometimes I actually have no idea what's going on until I open Monday.com. And boom, everything's there. Statuses, timelines, budgets, all in one clear dashboard.
Sorry.
Care fraud had undeniable impact, including the suspension of more than 130 companies from the ability to bill Medicaid, the state terminating the HSS program, the firing of the state official in charge, federal raids, subpoenas, indictments, and convictions, and enhanced screening, oversight, and suspension powers for regulators. Here to accept the award from Care 11, our reporter A.J. Legault and producer Gary Knox. The Center for Integrity in News Reporting Award honors the most fair, impartial, objective news reporting by a member of the WHCA that has the courage to not fear and the discipline to not favor. It's sponsored and administered by the Arkansas-based Center for Integrity in News Reporting and comes with a prize of $25,000. The award goes to Tyler Pager of the New York Times. The judges said that in his coverage of the first year of President Trump's second term, Pager demonstrates a disciplined, even-handed approach across a wide range of subjects, including supporters and donors, foreign policy, the Justice Department, and energy. The stories take readers inside consequential presidential decisions while presenting the facts. The work is deeply sourced and carefully verified, reflecting a clear dedication to getting it right without bias. Taken together, this body of work stands as a strong example of fair, impartial, and objective journalism, precisely the standard this award is intended to honor. Let's hear it one more time for this year's winners. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. But before we do that, let's give him another huge round of applause. And it's now my pleasure to introduce my good friend, longtime colleague, Jonathan Karl.
Okay. Hay quá.
All right, final award of the evening. It is a high honor to present the award created to recognize the fierce and fair women who cover the White House every day. But first, I just want to give a big thank you to Weijia Zhang. Weijia, your leadership was steady when steadiness was in short supply. You refused to let an act of violence take this dinner away from us. And because of you, it has gone on. You insisted that happen. Thank you. Awesome, courageous. And Mr. President, I want to say it matters that you came here tonight.
Mấy ông này là không thích ông Trump cho lắm đâu nha. Nhưng mà giỏi ngồi nói chuyện.
For more than 100 years, presidents have chosen to sit in a room of reporters who ask tough and often uncomfortable questions and who report without fear or favor. It's important. Thank you for being here. And in that spirit, I am thrilled to present an award named after two women who didn't just cover history, they helped make it. In 1947, a woman joined the White House press corps and changed it forever. Her name was Alice Dunnigan. She was the first African-American woman ever credentialed at the White House. And just a few years later, she was joined by Ethel Payne, and together they looked the most powerful man in the world in the eye and demanded answers about civil rights for Black Americans. President Eisenhower didn't always welcome those questions, but Alice and Ethel kept going and kept showing up, and they kept asking. The WHCA Dunnigan Payne Award for Lifetime Achievement exists to honor their legacy and to recognize journalists who followed in their footsteps by breaking barriers for future generations. So tonight, it is a privilege to present the award to two women who did exactly that. In a field long dominated by men, Melissa Young and Susan Walsh each built extraordinary careers as photojournalists, not by waiting for doors to be open, but by bursting through them again and again for decades. Melissa Young, this one I knew very well, she worked at ABC News for 44 years. She began in local television in Miami and worked her way to Capitol Hill in the White House, where she was one of the first female photojournalists in the press corps. Melissa documented the presidencies from Ronald Reagan to Donald Trump. She covered campaigns, secretaries of state, and defense. She reported in disaster zones, war zones, all around the world. I worked side by side with Melissa for about half of those years, and I traveled to more than a dozen countries with her. I'm not going to mention the time I was briefly detained because that was on Capitol Hill, and she came to my rescue. That kind of person. True. She's tireless and professional and a lot of fun to be around. She did it all with persistence, resilience, and quiet determination, retiring just last year. Wow. Susan Walsh, her career was built on anything but luck. When a promised job fell
8 inaugurations, 5 Olympics, 6 Super Bowls, World Series, lots of sporting events, APEC summits, NATO summits.
You traveled in a way you would never do as a regular person. I remember being in the palace with Fidel Castro and Jesse Jackson, and I was just walking around and, just like sort of going, whoa, here I am.
One of the craziest, wildest ones that I'll always remember is when I was with President Trump at the DMZ. I swear there were times that I don't think my feet hit the ground as we were being moved, and it was such a chaotic, crazy thing.
9/11 happened, and that just completely changed my life. That's when different kind of travel started for me. When they asked me to go with President Bush to Iraq, there I was, and an Iraqi journalist stood up in front of me, literally in front of me, and threw a shoe. Secret Service jumped on him. I was right behind him. I remember trying to hold on to my tripod so I can keep shooting. And then when it was finally over, they rushed us into a room to do an interview with the president. I think I started to see that what I did was really important.
I was traveling overseas with Jill Biden, and we slowly went into Ukraine, get the picture of First Lady Biden meeting Mrs. Zelensky, and for all of the I love you guys, my writer friends, but for all you writer friends who didn't want to give me a spot in the van, my picture ended up on the front page everywhere, and your stories got bumped inside. Sorry.
I hope there are more women that will follow through on this, especially in television, because it really is a great job.
It was always such a compliment to be considered one of the boys, one of the guys, and now that I'm older and there's many more women doing this job, I'm like, you know what? We're going to claim our space. You guys can be one of the girls, because we got this.
Yeah.
We got this.
All right, please join me in welcoming Susan and Melissa to the stage.
Bây giờ mình bắt đầu vào trong cái chương trình của Tổng thống Trump nói nha quý vị. Đợi cho một giây. Trang phải chuyển một cái screen này một cái. Đừng quên, ngày 28 tháng 7, 11 giờ sáng thứ ba tuần tới ở Lavender Hall gặp gỡ Trương Võ. Rồi. Mình bắt đầu vào trong chương trình nghe Tổng thống Trump phát biểu. Sao không nghe được Tổng thống Trump ha? What happened to cái sóng này? Somehow không nghe được Tổng thống Trump. Không biết cái âm thanh của họ bị sao á. Đây. Không nghe được quý vị ơi. Ok. Đợi Trang một chút, Trang phải có một cái âm thanh.
But just like my presidency, the second time is always better. It's always better. And the third time will be better yet. I'm only kidding. From the earliest moments after the attack on our dinner last April, I knew we had to reschedule this event as soon as possible. We had to do it very quickly, and we met very quickly, and we figured something out. But the attempted mass murder at the Washington Hilton, that's what it could have been, was an assault on our democracy itself. Very serious situation. Many of you were there with me, and some showed extreme bravery, like Pete Hegseth, Steve Miller, Tom Holman. Really? They were standing on tables, and most of you were under the tables, okay? But they did. They showed. I saw every one of them that was standing up in those tables. I didn't know if they were brave, if they were smart, if they were stupid as hell. But they were on those tables in some cases, and there were a lot of different feelings going on in the room at that moment. But after hearing the gunshots, many people yelled, "Get down, get down," which caused Nicki Minaj to start twerking. Do you believe it? Get down. She's the only one that really understood what that meant.
Ông kể lại cái câu chuyện mà tháng 4 mà lúc mà đột nhập vào bắn ám sát ông.
But tonight we come back together to answer that heinous attack with unwavering resolve. And every one of us here this evening to show that in America we do not yield to political violence. We can't do that.
Political violence không chấp nhận được cho nước Mỹ này nha, cái gọi là
So in this country, we believe in freedom of
bạo hành
speech.
về
We
chính trị
settle
là
our
không thể chấp nhận
differences
được.
not with bullets, but with
Mình có
open
thể khác
and
biệt nhưng mình không
vigorous
thể là
debate.
bạo
And no
hành được.
deranged loser with a gun will ever change that. We can't let that ever happen. A lot of very dangerous people out there. We can't let it happen. I want to begin by expressing our gratitude to the incredible men and women who put their lives on the line every day to protect my family and myself, all presidents, and lots of others. That's the United States Secret Service. So I appreciate it very much. And Sean and the whole group, amazing job. Amazing job. In recent months, they've repeatedly responded to threats with speed and professionalism and extraordinary courage. And there is no better example of that than Officer Victor Gonzalez, who we just met. It was amazing. What he did was amazing. When the would-be assassin charged the checkpoint at speed, he was fast. You know, when you looked at that, you had to look at it about 10 times before you really saw what was going on. He was quick. Nasty. The gun made him nasty, actually. But Officer Gonzalez engaged the attacker without hesitation and took a bullet to the chest after his ballistic vest, fortunately, was on, saved his life. And Victor did not even want to go to the hospital for a checkup. We insisted, really, we wanted him to do it. We insisted, but he didn't want to go. So to Officer Gonzalez, Secret Service, Metropolitan Police, law enforcement generally, and even all of the military surround us in the room tonight, we salute you and we thank you with all of our hearts. Thank you very much. Great job. Great job. Great job. These are great people. So this evening we're picking up right where we left off, so let's have a little bit of fun, you know. I said, what do we do here? Is this supposed to be fun? Am I supposed to be serious? Am I supposed to be a comedian? So I guess you said maybe a little bit of everything. I know one thing, I could never have done the speech that I had ready just a short while. Oh, that was going to be a doozy. I was so psyched. I was going to rip people. And I don't know, just something changed. It's really for the better, but I just wouldn't want to do that. But we'll do a little ripping if you don't mind. But it is true. I said, how do we handle this? It's going to be a different kind of an evening, and it is. And in many ways, it's a more beautiful evening, actually. Everyone's looking really good tonight, and I know it was not easy finding shoes to go along with your bulletproof vests, which many people didn't want to wear because they'd rather die than look 20 pounds heavier. You know that, right? We have that a lot. They put one on me. I said, are you sure I'm not wearing this? No, you gain. You look exactly 20. They say, sir, it's about 21 pounds. They said, not good. But I want to thank the outgoing president of the White House Correspondents Dinner Association. Now, she won't admit it, and she should not admit it, but we sort of became friendly. You know, in times of stress, on occasion, you become friendly. I have a lot of respect for Ouija, and I tell you, we went through a little bit of a war together. It turned out pretty good. It turned out pretty good because of a lot of good people. They stopped the tragedy, so I want to thank you very much. Fantastic job. And Ouija worked extremely hard to ensure this dinner was rescheduled. And we want to just thank her family. I just met her parents, her children, her husband. What a perfect family. So it's really great. Thank you very much all for putting up with this, right? But let me also thank the incoming president of the Correspondents Association, Jackie. She can be very tough as a reporter, I will tell you. She can be nasty. She looks so beautiful, but she can be so nasty. How could that happen? But she just got married to a very successful congressman, a very good congressman. I'd like to have a couple of more votes from it. That's okay. On occasion, he shows a little independence. We don't like that. But now he's a very professional guy, and he loves our country. But that's a big thing. I just see what takes place. We're talking about what takes place to be in the position that you're leaving and that Jackie's coming into. And it's a lot of work, a lot of friendships, a lot of talent. And so, Jackie, congratulations. And congratulations are also in order for our favorite White House press secretary, Caroline Levitt, who just had her second child. You and your husband. She's great. She's done a fantastic job. We all love her. She's done a fantastic job. She's another one. She can be nasty. But sometimes she has no choice, right? But Caroline may have one of the hardest jobs in the White House. She has to deal with all of you all of the time, and you can be very difficult. You can be very, very difficult people, but I'm probably being a little bit oversensitive. Sometimes I really do think that some of you don't like me. In fact, I read a report, I get 93% negative publicity. 93%. So how the hell did I win the election by so much? Think of it, I don't think that's true. I can't believe it's 93. In the 80s maybe, but not 93. But this place is really the largest group of Trump derangement syndrome people ever put together at one time, I suspect. Some of you are lucky that our last dinner was cut short because I had brought with me what would possibly have been, I'm telling you, I had something. I was going to go after you. I feel so badly doing this. It's got to be such a letdown. Oh, yay. But your lives were really in danger the last time for an opposite reason. But on the plus side, your careers were saved, and we really do. We have a complete and total. You know, I love the words complete and total. They say, but it means almost the same thing. I said, it doesn't matter when you say it. It's called emphasis. It's called emphasis. But everyone is now really warming up. The new White House military center, drone port, highly protected ballroom. We have our ballroom. The windows are this thick. I said to the people, well, if a bullet hits, what happens? Nothing. Nothing. It bounces right off, sir. This is the greatest bulletproof glass. I said, AK-47. That's supposed to be a big one. I don't know so much about the guns. My sons know a lot. But I said, I know it's big. What would happen? They go up, meaning it can take more. I said, so if I'm making a speech and I hear that pinging sound at a window, what would I do? Sir, leave the room right away, but you're going to be safe. We're building something that's going to be amazing. And in light of what we went through, I think people understand it. It's going to be amazing. A phenomenal, one of the biggest drone ports anywhere in the world, right on the roof, right, protecting the White House. Not only the ballroom, and what's underneath, you know, it's supposed to be a top military secret, what's underneath, but then you get sued as usual, and you have to reveal that you're building this unbelievable situation downstairs with room after room of very complex stuff. It was the military's dream to have it built. I wanted to have a ballroom because for 150 years they wanted it, and then the generals came to see me.
Cái ballroom là sao? Bởi cái vụ mà xả súng mà muốn ám sát ông Trump đó ở hotel của Hilton đó. Và sau khi cái vụ bắn này là coi như bên tòa án là chấp nhận có được cái ballroom cho ông tổng thống Trump. Để mình thấy ông tổng thống Trump, chẳng thấy đôi lúc ổng được thượng đế và bảo vệ đằng sau á quý vị ơi. Mới đầu ổng nói về cái ballroom mà lăn qua lăn lại, cãi tới cãi lui đủ thứ chân, cái tự nhiên có một cái thằng điên nào muốn ám sát ổng, cái tự nhiên bây giờ cái tòa án thấy cái việc mà có cái quan trọng có cái ballroom, hoặc là thậm chí bên nhà truyền thông cảnh tả nó cũng đồng ý phải có cái ballroom luôn. Cái từ đó thông qua là coi như suôn sẻ, tiếp tục cắt cái ballroom cho ổng, cho Nhà Trắng. Hay ghê á.
And they said, sir, you're building something. This gives us an opportunity to do something that will be so unbelievable, never happen again. Because there's very little built under the White House, very hard to build under a very fragile building like that. It's very fragile, it's old. And a little different construction standards, frankly. And this is an opportunity for us to build something very powerful. I said, let's keep it secret. They said, no, we're telling you, sir, let's keep it secret. And then we get sued and we revealed every room, We told the people that did the suing, they're not good people. We told them, we said, you're being very unpatriotic when you bring a suit like this, but it is what it is, but it's moving fast. We're ahead of schedule. We're right on budget, and it's going to be something like.
Công nhận cái ballroom đó nó gặp nhiều cái vấn đề, mà sau khi gặp nhiều cái vấn đề rốt cuộc thì nó cũng thông qua mà thôi. Yeah. Quý vị nghe Trang ok không hả? Tự nhiên nghe không im ra nha hả? Quý vị nghe được Trang mà phải không? Dạ, ok. Tự nhiên cái làn sóng này sao im ra? Ok. Không biết sao nó im ra nha quý vị. Để Trang một giây. Somehow cái livestream của bên kia nó lúc nó bị problem. Ok, đợi Trang giây. Come on. Ok. Đang gặp trục trặc. Ok. Trang có lại rồi nè. Đợi Trang chơi nha, Trang có lại cái phần này. Cái livestream tôi lúc livestream thẳng á, không đúng cái live của nó, cái bị trục trặc. Ok. Đợi Trang chút. Ok, I got it now. This is strange. Okay, được rồi.
Actually, quite a few times, people don't realize. And there's one time in particular when Barack Hussein Obama hosted it. Do you know who that is? And he hit me hard, but actually he hit me with respect. I was sitting with Melania at a table, and you had Brooklyn Decker, supermodel, at a table right next to her. And I really always will like her. She's married to a great tennis player, Andy. And she was at the table, not at my table. And I have watched this clip thousands of times. They keep playing it because they think that was the evening I decided to run for president. It was not. In fact, I loved the evening. I looked at my wife. I said, can you believe it? All these people, that's all they're doing is talking about me. I love this dinner. It's true. And Obama was nice. It's amazing how things work out. He actually showed a picture of the White House with a big Trump on top. Like I put a sign. And I'm sort of doing that when you think about it, right? I mean,
quý vị nhớ cái kỳ đó, lúc đó Tổng thống Trump cà khịa ông Obama cà khịa ông Trump không?
It had nothing to do. I just decided that I wanted to make America great again. This had nothing to do with that dinner. I've gotten so many. Yeah, I've gotten so many.
Người ta cứ nói là từ khi mà Tổng thống Trump quyết định chạy ra tranh cử là tại vì cái câu chuyện cái show của Obama.
Really, no. I left that night. And the press was there, a lot of the same people that I see. They said, did you have a good time? Unbelievable. And some thought I didn't have, but I did have. And I always remember, though, Brooklyn. She was so angry. She was much angrier than me. She was angry. She thought they were mocking me. And they really weren't. It was just one of those things. And I had a great time. But I left, and I sort of thought, I was there 3 or 4 times before that, but I sort of thought, wow, that dinner is really something special. And then I ran. I got elected. I thought the press treated me very, very unfairly. And I don't know. I think I made the right decision because you hate to go where maybe you're not wanted, but they did want me. They wanted me for ratings, and they wanted me for other reasons, but not for love. And I said, you know, I'm not going to go. First time that ever happened, I think. Was that the first time? Just about. Presidents always came. And I didn't go for 4 years because I got treated terribly by the press. In my opinion, unfairly. I know unfairly because I know the facts, but I got treated unfairly. I didn't go. And this year I was called by your president and your chairman and all of the people, and they said, we'd like to do it. And I said, you know what? With time goes by, time passes, and you sort of look at life a little bit differently. I said, let's do it. And I didn't know it was going to turn out the way it did. It turned out to be the biggest event in the history of your day. That was by far the biggest, right? For all the wrong reasons. But as I said before, a lot was learned from that evening. So much having to do with so many different things, including security. But it's an honor to do it. This is my first. I mean, I've been to it numerous times, but as president, I haven't been here. And I'm glad. And they said, would you do it next year? I said, I will be back next year. Now, if you get really, really nasty, maybe not. I don't know. But we're going to be back next year. And or Jackie will treat me very badly. But this year, the association decided not to have a comedian, so they considered using Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. These guys, they're terrible. They're terrible. Stephen Colbert. These are people without talent. They get a lot. They have talent. You know who has talent? Their agent, getting them the money they get. They have no talent.
Wow.
But they are not comedians. They're not funny people. They're angry people. They're sick people. But the association really put on a big show, and they have somebody very special. I look forward to seeing him. And so they thought about going with a professional clown for entertainment, but Adam Shifty Schiff was not available. You know, he's known, I called him, I hate some people. You know, I shouldn't say this. I'm not supposed to hate him. I'm supposed to love everybody. But he's a terrible person. He's a liar. And I called him Watermelon Head because he has the largest head I've ever seen with the smallest neck, pencil neck. How does that big, fat, ugly head stand on a little pencil neck? And then I'm told that even Rosie O'Donnell reached out from Ireland. She really wanted to be here in order to honor me. She loves me very much, and she was desperate to come back to the United States and pay her respect to Donald J. Trump. But that didn't work out, unfortunately, because nobody wanted her to come back. But she's one of the greatest sufferers of Trump derangement syndrome. She's a sick young woman, sick older woman, I guess now I have to say. So instead, we're honored to have, for entertainment, the very talented mentalist, Oz Perlman. And everything to everybody, they said, are you going to stay? I said, yeah, I'll stay. I mean, I think I'll stay. What the hell else am I going to do? I've got Iran, I've got this, I've got that, which is all going extremely well. Don't believe the fake news. You know, it's the only thing we were talking before, I said, so we've hit Iran very hard. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. 250 jets, no longer. 159 boats. Good boats. In fact, I said, why the hell didn't we keep them? We could use them. But 159, but all at the bottom of the sea. They have no radar. They have very few drones left, despite what you see. And every once in a while, they're going to set some things up, but they don't have much left. And by the way, they are talking to us right now. They'd love to make a deal. I don't think they're ready to. I don't think it's time yet, but I'm willing to listen. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. We don't want to see Washington, D.C., or any of our cities, or Israel, or frankly, the Middle East, destroyed with a nuclear weapon, because I know the power of nuclear weapons. I see it. I get to see it. We're not going to let that happen. So this is all about we will not let them have a nuclear weapon. And they would use it. They would use it if they had it. But Oz, I do have one question about what happened that time because he was there. How the hell did you not see that coming? He sees everything. He sees everything. He's telling me about your grandmother and your this. Why the hell didn't you? We got to ask him that question when he gets up here. Why didn't he see that coming? But of course, this evening, it's really all about the fake news media and your handling of prizes, and writing and producing and performing made-up stories like the Academy Awards. You know, Academy Awards used to be the epitome of ratings. Outside of the Super Bowl, it got the second most ratings. Now it's down in the dumps. Nobody wants to watch it anymore because they took on Trump. They hit me all night long. They hit me. The winner is so-and-so. I want to talk about Donald Trump. I hate this man. Nobody wants to hear this stuff. Right, Peter? Nobody wants to hear. You ever see the ratings? They used to have 48 million people. Now they have 2 people watching. But they'll learn their lesson. But I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It's all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake. But I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations. But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you have a smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. We attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it. They hired Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial? And then you have writer Josh Dorsey. He also received. He's been killing me for years. No, he's been, and yet tonight he shakes my hand. He hugs me, everything nice. He kills me. Josh is amazing. He writes more stories than any human being. There's nobody that writes more than Josh. He'll write 4 stories about me a day, all different subjects. Yeah. I mean, I had the other day 3 stories and one on the, he was upset about this. 1 was on page 7, 3 were on page 1. They were all written by Josh. But he's hit the big time, and he's a workhorse, and yet he's almost unhirable. You know, he's just one of these guys. Wall Street Journal's lucky to have him, but you really, it's unbelievable. He's almost unhirable. CNN is also here, and I'm very disappointed they didn't bring Fake Tapper because he's had a rough couple of years, Fake has. You know, he calls me up every once in a while. If I pick it up, pick up my phone. I used to go to this young lady. I'd say, any calls from the press? No, sir. I said, oh, now I'm the president of the United States, right? I'd say to Stephen Chung, is Stephen here someplace? Where's Stephen? He's one of the toughest human beings I've ever met. Don't ever wrestle Stephen. You'll be in big trouble. But I say, Stephen, let me ask you, did the press call? No, sir. You know, when I was a developer, I'd get a call every half an hour. For whatever reason, I always got disproportionate press. So I said, Stephen, nobody called? No, sir. 2 hours later, I say, hi, Steve, how are we doing? Everything good? Anybody call? No, sir, no press calls. I said, I'm president. Nope, they never call. So this went on for about a week. I'd say, Caroline, did the press call? No, sir, no calls. I said, nothing. It's over a week. I haven't received a call. So I said, you know what I'll do? I'm going to give the press my phone number. That was the stupidest thing I ever did. I'm getting a call every 3.7 minutes. Stephen, I don't know where the hell you've been, but the press calls, I'm getting calls, ring, ring. I was with somebody today. They said, I've never heard a phone ring as much as press. Now, I look at the thing and usually just delete, delete, delete. Every once in a while, it'll be one of the people in this room that I like.
Hay nha, cái chiến dịch hay ghê đó. Khi mà Tổng thống Trump kể như vậy đó.
Me on occasion, right?
Ok, để Trân nói khúc này, Trân giải thích cái khúc này nào. chiến dịch đó, khi mà muốn đưa ra thông tin cho cái press đó, mà không giống như không có tổng thống, xin lỗi, không có truyền thông nào mà gọi vào trong cái Nhà Trắng hết trơn á, thì cho đến khi một cái giai đoạn á, tổng thống Trump sao phải cho số phone của tổng thống Trump ra, mà cho tổng thống Trump số phone như vậy đó là những người mà press, giống như những người mà làm mà truyền thông về cánh tả cánh hữu được quyền gọi vô bất cứ lúc nào thì tổng thống Trump sẽ trả lời. Thì từ đó là mình mới thấy cái cuộc trao đổi giữa truyền thông cánh tả đó, tổng thống Trump đôi lúc gọi là fake news á, từ đó bắt đầu là cái khoảng cách giữa hai bên nó bắt đầu nó mới khích lại. Chứ trước đây từ xưa tới giờ là mình thấy là cái khoảng cách bên về truyền thông của cánh tả với tổng thống Trump nó rất là xa, nhưng mà từ khi ổng mở cái đường dây đó cho bất cứ ai bên ngành mà truyền thông cánh tả cánh hữu gì chính giữa hay là như thế nào đó cũng có thể mà gọi vào trong Nhà Trắng, mà gọi vào trong Tòa Bạch Ốc, mà khi mà gọi vào trong Tòa Bạch Ốc thì tổng thống Trump sẵn sàng trả lời. Thì trước khi cái thí nghiệm đầu tiên đó thì cái số phone đó nó được reo thường xuyên hơn, chứ trước đó là không. Đó là cái mà tổng thống Trump đưa ra một cái idea đó, một cái ý kiến mới, thì từ đó bắt đầu mình mới thấy giữa truyền thông với tổng thống Trump bắt đầu có những cái sự mà xích gần lại với nhau, nó không có còn cách xa nhau nữa.
She'll call me and she says, "Hello, sir. How are you? We want to talk about some horrible subject, like a horrible, depressing subject."
Thì thậm chí là có những người là họ gọi dùng cách vô duyên nữa, nói những cái chuyện nhiều vô duyên nhờ tổng thống Trump vẫn sẵn sàng nói chuyện. Cái đó là cái điểm hay đó.
I don't want to talk about congratulations, however, on your new marriage, but I don't want to talk about it. But it's true, and people call me now, and so for weeks I go no calls. And I learned then that both of them, they feel that I'm doing a great job and they feel I'm above it all.
Yeah.
And that no person, hundreds of people call no person, is good enough to talk to Trump. And so we don't even bother telling you. That's not the way it works, Caroline. You have to let me know, because sometimes I do like to speak to the press, but now I have the best system I've ever had. It rings, and just so you understand, you're much better at putting your name. Because if there's no name, I just can't do that. You know, I pick up every once in a while. Hello, I'm from Reno, Nevada. We're a startup paper. We're calling us the Reno Express. I said, "Do you believe I'm the president of the United States?" "Mr. President, could I have your views on Iran?" And I just hang up. No, I get the craziest calls. I mean, some of them, my wife said, "I can't believe you do this. This is a hell of a way to live." But sometimes they get calls from very important. Sometimes I can straighten out stories that are going to be fake, and I can make them from a fake story to a good story. Yeah. I always find that when you don't speak to the press, you always get a bad story. When you do speak to the press, you have a shot at getting a good story.
Yep.
Oh, look.
Wow.
No, look, if I were a reporter, and let's say I'm a big reporter, I work for the failing New York Times, or I work for, well, I don't know, do they ever come to these dinners? Didn't they cancel out a long time ago? Big mistake. They should be here. But I get a call. I've always found that, you know, speaking to them, you just do better. You do better when you can, when you have the time. You speak to the reporter. You treat the reporter with respect. Sometimes now there are reporters where it doesn't matter. You can be so nice to them, it doesn't matter. You get treated unfairly. But you have a lot of great reporters where when you speak to them, you can get your point across, and that's a good thing. But some people say that Jake Tapper is a great investigative reporter in D.C., and that's why after moderating our debate, it only took him 1 year to break the story that Joe Biden might possibly have suffered from cognitive decline. It took him 1 year. He wrote a book about how great he was mentally, not too good. And I don't like Biden because Biden was very unfair to a lot of people. Yeah. But Jill Biden insists that Joe would have beaten me in 2024, even though he was way down. She said he was way behind in the polls because he was seriously ahead. She felt he was going to win because he was seriously ahead on deceased voters. He was leading in the deceased crowd, and there were a lot of them. You're finding out there's a lot of them. Look at the numbers that just came out yesterday. Yep. And it's traditional that at least one or two potential presidential hopefuls attend.
Cái livestream này á, hình như nó đang bị problem. Thử cho tới một cái giai đoạn khi nào tổng thống Trump mà nói chuyện á, thì nó hay bị cắt ngang. Trang hiểu á, cái RS này á, nó bị trouble ngày hôm nay á. Nãy giờ Trang dùng 2 lần rồi đó. Mà khi mà Tổng thống Trump là nói chuyện đang nửa chừng cái bắt đầu mất đi cái làn sóng. Đợi Trang một giây, Trang phải upload một cái livestream mới nha quý vị. Mình sắp sửa nghe mình sẽ nghe Tổng thống Trump tiếp tục nha quý vị. Để Trang tắt cái này đi cái đã. Let me see here. Ok. Trang phải tắt cái này. Mỗi một lần như vậy Trang bị problem. Đợi Trang giây. Mấy người cứ bị problem hoài luôn. Ok. Trang phải dùng một cái live khác. Còn không nó chỉ đến một nào đó thì nó cắt ngang cái kiểu vậy, mà trong khi đó Trang dùng từ White House đó, nó cũng không xong. Từ White House Correspondents nó cũng không xong. Yeah. Ok, nếu mà cái livestream này mà mình bị trục trặc thì Trang phải stop cái livestream này và Trang đi vào trong cái bảng tin tức thẳng luôn nha quý vị, nếu mà nó gặp trục trặc hoài. Yeah. Ok, mình Trang có lại rồi nè. Ok, đợi Trang một giây, Trang có lại cái livestream cho quý vị. It's kind of weird.
Florida, that thing was packed every single night.
Có lại
It
rồi
was
đó.
packed, mostly Republicans, I would say, but it was packed every single night. It almost brings back memories. But I left town, and I have just had nothing but good experience. And this might be the best experience of all, having all of these incredible people in this room. It's a great feeling, frankly. It's a great feeling. But tonight's event, thank you. But tonight's event is even crazier than the last time. In fact, it's so successful that I've been informed by CBS News' David Ellison, who's going to do a fantastic job. He's the owner. He's the owner. He bought it, spent a lot of money, and he's going to make, I think, fantastic changes and keep some of the great stuff going. But that next year they're going to call it the Trump White House Correspondents Center. He told me that.
Oh, wow.
And I like that very much. We're going to change the name of it, okay? Well, it's going to be so
Trump
hot.
thích
Just
tất
like
cả
our
gì mà
country
thích
is hot.
tên với
We are hot, by
dính
the way.
tên của Trump là ông thích à.
To be honest, it's just
Cái ballroom
about
nó sẽ
the
có
only
thể là
way that
Trump
they're going
ballroom.
to ever get me back here. You're going to have to change the name of the dinner. But how's that one going? Not too good. I hope that everyone finally got to enjoy their entire very delicious beef tenderloins, very special beef. And I want you all to know that Bobby Kennedy, who's right here, personally ran over the cow in his car.
Ông Bob Kennedy á, quý vị phải hiểu được cái ông Bob Kennedy mà hiện nay là làm bên MAHA đó, tất nhiên là bên cái phần mà về mà sức khỏe đó, là ông đó là ổng cái gì ổng cũng là organic hết trơn nha quý vị. Thì ổng nói chung là nói về tới phần thịt bò hay là làm cách nấu ăn nướng như thế nào, ổng chỉ cách cho coi thử thành thử ra ổng nói giỡn là Bob Kennedy mới cán được con bò, tất nhiên là đụng được con bò.
Here for you to eat tonight, so it's very fresh.
Bây giờ
And Bobby also suggested an appetizer featuring his favorite cut of male raccoon roadkill. But we drew the line at that, Cheryl. We said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that. We love Bobby. I'll tell you, it is a piece of work. You think it is fun, but he is a very different kind of a person, I will tell you. But he has what it takes, and he's smart, and he loves the country, and he wants people to be made to feel good. You agree with that, Bobby? He wants people to feel good. And he's doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. We can joke all we want, but thank you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, quý vị lại bị nữa. Yeah.
Boxing ring right outside of the front door of the White House. That took a lot of heat, but it turned out that was, they say, about the most viewed fight in history. It was beautiful. So many things happened. It was supposed to rain. We're going to do it the week before, and the weather was beautiful. And the weather came and it went, and now we came up to Wednesdays. They said, sir, this was on a Sunday night, replacing 60 Minutes, which is nice and unusual because usually it's Saturday night. And they said, sir, this was from Wednesday on. Tell me about weather, right? Sure, it's going to rain. I think you're going to have to. It's going to be one of the worst storms that we've seen in a long time. It's coming up the coast. It's going to hit you on Sunday night. It's going to be a disaster. I'm saying, can you believe? And you saw the ring we built, Dana White, the great Dana White, and everything. We had the best fighters in the world. Turned out we had the best fights that most people have ever seen, including me.
Ông đang kể
It's just a
chuyện về bao
miracle.
nhiêu ngày
What
vừa qua
happened
đang
is
xảy ra nhạc
we're
trắng
waiting
từ
for this
cái
rain to come all day long. and
đấu
it's coming,
trận
and
ngày
it's
birthday của
horrible.
ổng, rồi tùm lum
And
lá hết trơn.
it's 8 o'clock, and we say, I think it hasn't rained yet. I said, maybe we should postpone it an hour. Maybe we should make it the next day. We didn't know what to do. And finally, we just said, let's just have it. And it never rained. It was perfect. In fact, the week before, it was 92 degrees. It was nice, but this was like 72 degrees. And the rain was coming, and it came right over the White House. And it was like, thank you very much. It went like this. And other areas were drenched a few miles away. We didn't have a drop of rain. And it was absolutely one of the most incredible things anybody's ever seen. People said it's one of the most incredible nights of their lives. So just remember, before I came along, if you wanted to see someone lose consciousness on the south lawn of the White House, all you had to do is ask Joe Biden a question. Remember that. Oh, you think I'm kidding. But the big fight was such an amazing success that tonight I'm pleased to announce that we're going to host an even bigger one right in front of the White House. Every Friday night, every Saturday night, we're going to have fights in front of the White House. But we do have something coming and I'm only kidding. You know, the one thing about the press that I learned, don't be sarcastic. Because I'm a very sarcastic person, and I get sarcastic.
Đừng có cà khịa.
And most people know that, but you have some bad people that will write it exactly like I say it. And I said I was only kidding. But we are going to have Indy 500. Roger Penske's coming in mid-August, and they're going to have it all throughout Washington, the greatest cars, the greatest drivers in the world. And that's going to be something. Already they have over 350,000 people signed up, going down Pennsylvania Avenue, around the Capitol. And Roger, who's incredible, he won the Indianapolis 500 20 times. Think of it. Germany, Japan, all these countries, they spend billions and billions of dollars trying to win the Indy 500. And Roger wins it. He literally won it 20 times. On the 18th time, I said, you know, that's amazing. I'm going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And I had him up. And then he won it 2 times after that. The guy's amazing. And he lost the last one by about 6 inches, if anybody watched it. So they're coming here, and it's going to be something really exciting. We have unbelievable events. It's an unbelievable country.
Đúng rồi, cái tính của ông Trump cũng rất là khó hiểu nha. Tại vì mình không biết lúc nào ổng nói giỡn, lúc nào ổng nói thật, mà lúc nào ổng cà khịa. Mà những người nào mà thường mà có cái tính tình mà hơi mà serious quá á, hơi mà lúc nào cũng là nghiêm trọng á, thì sẽ cho ông này nói xạo, nói ba trợn, nói tùm lum tà la. Nhưng mà thật sự cái tính của ông Trump đó, ông mix and match nhiều cái character trong cái con người của ông á. 3 hồi ổng rất là chững chạc, 4 hồi ổng rất là funny, 5 hồi là ổng thích cà khịa, thí dụ như vậy, 3 hồi là ổng cũng nổi sùng nổi ma, thí dụ như vậy đó. Mà tổng thống Trump là như vậy. Mà nếu mà mình làm về mà truyền thông trong nếu mà tiếp cận của tổng thống Trump thường xuyên đó, mà khi tiếp cận thường xuyên gì mà mình không hiểu được cái cách tính của ổng, mà mình sẽ report sai, tất nhiên mình sẽ viết cái article nó khác liền. nữa, tùy theo mỗi một con người cảm nhận cái người nó đối diện á, họ nói cái gì thì họ mới đưa ra cái thông tin đúng. Còn những cái người khác mà họ không nhận định nó được đúng á, thì họ đưa ra thông tin sai, là chỗ đó đó.
And on July 4th, we were over at the mall, and it was raining. It was supposed to be really bad again. And we had 450,000 people show up, and that's a light number. And I was told, sir, we're going to have to cancel the event. This was not good. And it was drizzling a little bit, not raining very hard. And people are calling me, friends of mine were calling me. And I got a call from Brett Baer. Brett Baer said, it's not raining. I said, where are you? I'm standing at the mall, and I'm waiting to go in the White House. Then others called up. They said the same thing. And I said, you know, this is terrible. But there was lightning. Not big lightning, but you don't have to have big lightning. Just have to, it takes just a little bit to do some big damage.
Yeah.
So they said everybody must leave. 450,000 people were forced to leave, and they left. And then I said to myself, I said, let me call up and find out what the hell's going on. And I called up and I spoke to a brilliant young man. He said, don't worry about it, sir. We can do it in a couple of weeks. I said, you can't do it in a couple of weeks. This is the 250th birthday.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, what are we going to do? Say, let's go? We're going to have a redo? No. I said, I'll speak if I have to speak at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I don't care. Call them all back. They're all gone. 450,000. And most of them were in cars. They were heading back to Texas, and it was sad. And we said the show must go on. Very much like here, we said the same term, right? The show, it's a great term.
Must go on.
It's true in life. The show has to go on. The show must go on. And I said, the show must go on. I put it out on Truth. The show must go on. And we had probably, Peter, 150,000 people come back. Come back, up higher. Maybe, thank you. Let's stand up, Peter. Tell them. More, right? It might have been more, but it was amazing. It was just an amazing crowd.
Thời tiết thay
And
đổi
actually
hơn
worked
xưa
out
đó.
better, a little like this. It worked out better than if we had done it at the normal 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock time. It was incredible. We started speaking at 11 o'clock in the evening, but tremendous numbers of people. Thousands and thousands came roaring back, and it was a great evening. And it was a celebration. And we didn't do it the following day, and we didn't do it 2 weeks later. We did it when we were supposed to do it. It was a fantastic celebration. But I can exclusively reveal to you this evening that for the heaviest of the heavyweights, we will have sloppy Chris Christie, one of the sloppiest human beings you'll ever meet, fighting, I would say, I could mention the governor of Chicago, but I'm going to mention instead Jerry Nadler. And they're fighting for a big piece of cheesecake, big fat piece of cheesecake. Who the hell wrote that line? But it is true. And then you have a congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC plus 3. That's her 3 friends, right?
AOC plus 3.
And I
Quá
watched her
đó,
give that
quá đó.
answer when she was over in Europe. It was not a good answer. If I ever gave that answer, I would be out of politics. Remember, you cannot have a 19-second wait time to answer really a very quite simple question. But we'll then have a rematch against an extreme, simple question on a foreign policy from Munich Security Conference. It was a big security conference, and this was our first time up in terms of that. And we had a sort of little preview, and then Anderson Cooper is going to fight Lawrence O'Donnell. I'm not a fan of Lawrence O'Donnell. I like Anderson, actually, because he's covered me well for many years. Then he went bad as soon as I went for politics. But for years, he loved interviewing. I did so many interviews with him, and he was great. But, you know, he's got a little different persuasion than me in many ways, actually. And Lawrence O'Donnell, never liked him, never thought he had any talent. But he's still making a living, so I can't knock it. But we had a contest for who had the lowest ratings and the lowest IQ on television. And that was actually Don Lemon, I think. You know, when I said that he's the dumbest man on television, I said, you know, when you say
cái anh chàng
something...
Don Lemon này đó là cái anh chàng này, ảnh coi như ảnh ghét tổng thống Trump lắm. Mà anh chàng này là ngày xưa đó cũng nổi tiếng bên CNN lắm á quý vị. Anh chàng mà người da đen á, mà cũng nổi tiếng bây giờ là ảnh out of job, mà ghét tổng thống Trump lắm, nó ghét, cực được ghét luôn á. Thì Tổng thống Trump chơi cái chiêu là giống như anh chàng the low IQ trong cái ngành của truyền thông đó, từ đó tới sau là anh chàng đã mất job luôn. Dạ, ở chỗ đó đó. Nghe tiếp. Nghe tiếp.
Things you never make a comeback. It's not like, oh, gee, hey, Don, let's have dinner some night.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm saying. And then you have Bette Midler and Jane Fonda actually held a concert to protest the first UFC fight. They didn't want to see the fight.
Jane Fonda là cái bà mà chống mà kháng chiến ở bên Việt Nam đó, bà đó vừa sáu mấy 70 tuổi mà bây giờ bà còn cái kiểu mà dân chủ cực đoan á.
Really beat up faces of the UFC. Almost everyone chose the people in the UFC. It was between the two of them of the UFC. And what about Bruce Springsteen?
Why are you still using bots for your meetings? How else am I going to remember what happened? Just use granola. Okay, what's granola? So granola is like a note taker or more like a notepad. It just runs in the background. But a bot never joins the call. You just write your notes like you normally would. Yeah, but it probably just gives you like a long transcript. No, it actually takes all your notes plus what happened during the call. And it builds out a whole recap in like an easy readable way. And let's say you step away for a few minutes and come back, you can ask it, what did I miss? And it will literally tell you everything that you missed so you can jump right back in. Okay, that's sick. Wait, you said it's called granola? Yeah, I'll send you the link.
There again, high-fiving Bruce Springsteen in the aisle, and Bruce Springsteen saw him and didn't even lift his hand up. And I just wanted, because I used to be friendly with Chris. Chris, when somebody doesn't like you, write them off, forget it. You got billions of people in the world. You don't have to make a jerk out of yourself. But usually a comedian hosts this dinner. And I think we sort of changed it. Tonight we're going to have somebody who I think is really spectacular. But I've watched comedians get up for the dinner because I have been here actually quite a few times. People don't realize. And there's one time in particular when Barack Hussein Obama hosted it. Do you know who that is? And he hit me hard. But actually he hit me with respect. I was sitting with Melania at a table. And you had Brooklyn Decker, supermodel, at a table right next to her. And I really always will like her. She's married to a great tennis player, Andy. And she was at the table, not at my table. And I have watched this clip thousands of times. They keep playing it because they think that was the evening I decided to run for president. It was not. In fact, I loved the evening. I looked at my wife. I said, can you believe it? All these people, that's all they're doing is talking about me. I love this dinner. It's true. And Obama was nice. It's amazing how things work out. He actually showed a picture of the White House with a big Trump on top. Like I put a sign, and I'm sort of doing that when you think about it, right? I mean, he wasn't really wrong. But no, he was respectful. He was good. But it had nothing to do. It had nothing to do. I just decided that I wanted to make America great again. This had nothing to do with that dinner. I've gotten so many calls, and for years they've been saying, was that the moment you decided to run? Really, no. I left that night, and the press was there. A lot of the same people that I see, they said, did you have a good time? Unbelievable. And some thought I didn't have, but I did have. And I always remember, though, Brooklyn. She was so angry. She was much angrier than me. She was angry. She thought they were mocking me. And they really weren't. It was just one of those things. And I had a great time. But I left, and I thought I was there 3 or 4 times before that. But I sort of thought, wow, that dinner is really something special. And then I ran. I got elected. I thought the press treated me very, very unfairly. And I don't know. I think I made the right decision because you hate to go where maybe you're not wanted, but they did want me. They wanted me for ratings, and they wanted me for other reasons, but not for love. And I said, I'm not going to go. First time that ever happened, I think. Was that the first time? Just about. Presidents always came. And I didn't go for 4 years because I got treated terribly by the press. In my opinion, unfairly. I know unfairly because I know the facts, but I got treated unfairly. I didn't go. And this year I was called by your president and your chairman and all of the people, and they said, we'd like to do it. And I said, you know what? With time goes by, time passes, and you sort of look at life a little bit differently. I said, let's do it. And I didn't know it was going to turn out the way it did. it turned out to be the biggest event in the history of your day. That was by far the biggest, right? For all the wrong reasons. But as I said before, a lot was learned from that evening. So much having to do with so many different things, including security. But it's an honor to do it. This is my first. I mean, I've been to it numerous times, but as president, I
Công nhận ông Tổng thống
haven't
Trump
been
này
here.
cũng 71 tuổi.
And I'm glad.
Ông
And
thích
I
kể
said,
chuyện
they said,
dễ
would you
sợ
do it
lắm.
next year? I said, I will be back next year. Now, if you get really, really nasty, maybe not. I don't know. But we're going to be back next year. And
Mà cái ngạc nhiên của Trang là Trang thấy trong cái khán phòng này nha, mà họ ngồi im, họ nghe, họ không có la làng, hí ha, hí hô nha, bình thường là có đó. Bình thường họ bu luôn
Jimmy
á.
Fallon, these guys, they're terrible. They're terrible. Stephen Colbert, these are people without talent. They get a lot, they have talent. You know who has talent? Their agent, getting them the money they get. They have no talent. But they are not comedians. They're not funny people. They're angry people. They're sick people.
Yeah.
But the association really put on a big show, and they have somebody very special. I look forward to seeing him. And so they thought about going with a professional clown for entertainment, but Adam Shifty Schiff was not available. You know, he's known, I called him, I hate some people, you know, I shouldn't say this, I'm not supposed to hate, I'm supposed to love everybody. But he's a terrible person, he's a liar. And I called him Watermelon Head because he has the largest head I've ever seen with the smallest neck, pencil neck. How does that big, fat, ugly head stand on a little pencil neck? And then I'm told that even Rosie O'Donnell reached out from Ireland. She really wanted to be here in order to honor me. She loves me very much, and she was desperate to come back to the United States and pay her respect to Donald J. Trump. But that didn't work out, unfortunately, because nobody wanted her to come back. But she's one of the greatest sufferers of Trump derangements. And she's a sick young woman, sick older woman, I guess now I have to say. So instead, we're honored to have, for entertainment, the very talented mentalist, Oz Perlman. And everybody, they said, are you going to stay? I said, yeah, I'll stay. I mean, I think I'll stay. What the hell else am I going to do? I've got Iran, I've got this, I've got that, which is all going extremely well. Don't believe the fake news. You know, it's the only thing we were talking before, I said, so we've hit Iran very hard.
Yeah.
Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. 250 jets, no longer. 159 boats. Good boats. In fact, I said, why the hell didn't we keep them? We could have used them. But 159, but all at the bottom of the sea. They have no radar. They have very few drones left, despite what you see. And every once in a while, they're going to set some things up, but they don't have much left. And by the way, they are talking to us right now. They'd love to make a deal. I don't think they're ready to. I don't think it's time yet, but I'm willing to listen. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. We don't want to see Washington, D.C., or any of our cities, or Israel, or frankly, the Middle East, destroyed with a nuclear weapon, because I know the power of nuclear weapons. I see it. I get to see it. We're not going to let that happen. So this is all about, we will not let them have a nuclear weapon.
Không thể nào có vũ khí hạt nhân. Chẳng ngạc nhiên đó là trong cái môi trường hiện tại đó là truyền thông cánh tả là không có la làng, không có đưa những cái tiếng động không đồng tình với ông Trump nha. Thường có, nhưng kỳ này không. Phải nói hay đấy.
Why the hell didn't we got to ask him that question when he gets
Tổng
up
thống
here?
với
Why didn't he see that
báo
coming?
gọi là fake news.
But of course, this evening, it's really all about the fake news media. And you're handling prizes, writing, and producing, and performing made-up stories like the Academy Awards. You know, Academy Awards used to be the epitome of ratings. Outside of the Super Bowl, it got the second most ratings. Now it's down in the dumps. Nobody wants to watch it anymore because they took on Trump. They hit me all night long. They hit me. The winner is so-and-so. I want to talk about Donald Trump. I hate this man. Nobody wants to hear this stuff. Right, Peter? Nobody wants to hear. You ever see the ratings? They used to have 48 million people. Now they have 2 people watching. But they'll learn their lesson. But I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations. But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you have a smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can, it was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it, they hired Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial? And then you have writer Josh Dorsey. He also received, he's been killing me for years. No, he's been, and yet tonight he shakes my hand, he hugs me, everything nice. He kills me. Josh is amazing. He writes more stories than any human being. There's nobody that writes more than Josh. He'll write 4 stories about me a day, all different subjects. I mean, I had the other day 3 stories, and one on the, he was upset about this. One was on page 7, 3 were on page 1. They were all written by Josh. But he's hit the big time, and he's a workhorse, and yet he's almost unhireable. You know, you hired, he's just one of these guys. Wall Street Journal's lucky to have him, but you really, it's unbelievable. He's almost unhireable. CNN is also here. And I'm very disappointed they didn't bring Fake Tapper because he's had a rough couple of years, Fake has. You know, he calls me up every once in a while. If I pick it up, I pick up my phone. I used to go to this young lady, I'd say, any calls from the press? No, sir. I said, oh, States of America. Between California's policies of enabling wildfires, paying drug addicts to be homeless, giving free sex changes to illegals, and telling rich people they're going to take away, all of your money is going to be taken away. People are fleeing, and they're fleeing in droves. We can't have that in this country. It's becoming such a horrible and dangerous location that Ilhan Omar, one of my favorites, and her brother are thinking about moving together, very much in love. A video has surfaced recently of Ilhan giving a speech referring to World War II is World War 11. And they asked
cái đó
about
đúng
that.
nha
She's
quý vị, cái đó đúng. Ilhan Omar là có một cái speech gọi là World War II mà nó hay gạch đó. Nhưng mà nó đọc thành số 11 đó, thì quý vị cứ tưởng tượng cái kiến thức của người ta, bà đó như thế nào nha quý vị. Là cái đó là, nhưng mà đắc cử được Congresswoman ở bên Michigan ấy, khủng khiếp quá.
She thought she got it right. But I'm not surprised because she's a low IQ person. And she's also a very dishonest person. And she ought to get the hell out of our country. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be in our country. She also calls her brother husband number 1. Omar is reportedly being investigated for fraud. She revised her net worth. I was shocked to see that she was worth much more than $30 million. And then when the press got on her, she revised it slightly downward to less than 18,000. So she went from much more than 30 million to 18,000. And I know Democrats, and the word Democrat is something that's come into fashion. I changed the E with a U, and most people don't know that dumb has a B, so we don't have to worry about that. It's very quiet. I thought it was quite good, but I haven't gotten much credit for that. Fake news, good. Pocahontas, good. I won't say Lion Ted because he's on my side. I don't talk about past conquests, but we have a lot of them.
Công nhận ông đặt tên nào là dính tên đó luôn á nha. Shifty Shift là Adam Schiff đó, Shifty Shift đó.
But we've had a lot of good names. But the Democrats are there to destroy wealth, and honestly, they've gone absolutely crazy. Gavin Newsom's not only a man who really wants to run for president, he's doing a bad job running a state. You can't have somebody like a J.B. Pritzker, who I understand is not president, sadly, but, you know, some people say never used the fat word. And I don't. I would never call anybody fat. I have my own problems, you know? It's not like I'm perfect. Sir, in the back, don't call him a fat pig, okay? I'm sticking up for him. Don't call him you. You can't do that, sir. You can't call J.B. Pritzker a fat pig, please. All right? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Everyone's trying to figure out who is that guy, does he exist? But the nice part is when you do that, the press can't get you. Because I'm defending a man who obviously has a problem. Actually, he's lost a lot of weight. I saw him recently. He lost quite a bit of weight. I don't know what the hell. He's got no chance, believe me. Anything he does, the family threw him out of the business. A number of other potential Democrat contenders sadly refused to show up tonight. We invited Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. She's referred to Pocahontas because, in fact, I had to apologize. People came up and they said, we want you to apologize to Elizabeth Warren for calling her Pocahontas. And I ended up apologizing to the real Pocahontas. But Elizabeth Warren was supposedly of Indian heritage.
Yeah.
And then she took the test and she only had 1,024th Native American.
Mà cái đó
And I
láo
said, you know
thật.
what?
Nó láo.
I think I'm more of an Indian than she is.
Yep.
So this is what we have to deal with. But Senator Warren did not accept our invitation to debate. I wanted to debate her on various and sundry things, and she decided not to do it. And I decided to bury the hatchet. It doesn't matter. And she, well, I'm not going to say this next one. Do you want to hear this one? How bad? She wasn't high up on her totem pole. Who the hell wrote that? No, she's bad news. I wanted to make sure that Jack Smith, deranged Jack Smith, remember he went after me for about 2 years? How did he do? Not too good. I'm in the White House.
Jack Smith bây giờ bị in đây rồi nha quý
He's
vị.
not doing as well.
Dạ, ông đang bị in
He's in
đây
a
rồi.
different
Jack
kind of
Smith
a
mới
house. But
bị
he's
in
a
đây.
deranged human being. He's a bad prosecutor. You
Dạ,
know, prosecutors
còn
are
nhớ ông
very
Jack
important.
Smith mà phải không?
A
Ông bị in
great
đây rồi.
prosecutor, a fair prosecutor, but
Yeah.
that's
Bị
the
in
great
đây là cách đây
prosecutors, the ones that are
hai
fair.
ngày.
They're very important to a country, but this guy was a deranged lunatic.
Dạ.
Saw his
Ông này là nếu quý vị nào
invitation
không
tonight.
biết
He
đó
was
là ông này
invited
là
because, you know.
ông
But
truy
I
tố
put
tổng
it
thống
in
Trump
a
mà
private
những cái
text
hồ
to Chuck
sơ
Grassley.
là hồ sơ đó không đâu vào đâu.
Chuck saw him and he did a certain thing. And then one man that we had who should be here, he turned Palestinian. This was a man who was 100% for Israel. 100%. Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. Remember he cried at the airport over illegal immigrants. They were the fakest tears. There were people throwing water in his face. But now he's a proud, very proud Palestinian. In fact, I'm going to send him a beautiful Palestinian outfit tomorrow so he can greet Bibi Netanyahu when he comes to town next week, along with the mayor, who I'm sure would love to meet Bibi. They're not treating Bibi too well, but Chuck wanted to join us tonight, but he didn't want to be violating many parts of the Palestinian rules, regulations, and certainly he didn't want to violate Sharia law, his new founding. And all joking aside, I do think we need term limits in Congress. I think
Ông Trump nãy giờ đá dò lái ông Chuck Schumer. Nói chung là Chuck Schumer đó là thật sự là một cái người mà từ Do Thái mà ra. Vì đảng Dân Chủ bây giờ là theo cái phong trào gọi là xã hội chủ nghĩa đó. Thì cái phong trào này nó đang dựng lên một cái hình ảnh là Free Palestine đối lợi với bài Do Thái. Thì nếu mà muốn giữ cái base của bên đảng Dân Chủ, những người mà cử tri mà thuộc về đảng Dân Chủ mà cực đoan đó, thì ổng bắt đầu ổng lên án bên Do Thái. Mà khi mà ổng bắt đầu lên án Do Thái như vậy đó, thì là những người mà từ xưa tới giờ mà gọi là truyền thống dân chủ đó, họ không thích ông Chuck Schumer nữa. Đó là một trong những cái câu chuyện mà đang xảy ra với ông Chuck Schumer, bởi vì ông nói bây giờ cũng đâu có ai nghe đâu trong quốc hội bên đảng Dân Chủ. Thì bây giờ cái phần còn lại mà nãy giờ Tổng thống Trump mà muốn cà khịa ông Chuck Schumer giống như nước mắt cá sấu, rồi này nọ, đồ tùm lum tà lá hết á. Thì cái đó nãy giờ là Tổng thống Trump đang cà khịa. Và mà trong khi đó ông Chuck Schumer là mất kiểm soát rồi. Một trong những vấn đề hiện nay là bên đảng Dân Chủ là bây giờ họ đi vào trong gọi là Dân Chủ xã hội chủ nghĩa, là xích một nấc nữa thôi là Cộng sản đó. Thì cái đó là cái đường hướng đang đi mà Tổng thống Trump bây giờ nói là đang kể tiếp á.
term limits are very important because I see what's happening. I see what's happening. The other day, a senator I knew got a text, a great guy, from his wife. And she said, when you get home, I want to have you immediately come up the stairs and make love to me. And he said, I can't do both. You know what? In other words, you can't go up the stairs and make love. Does anybody get that? Well, I thought that was actually pretty good. That was actually the only thing I thought was good in this whole frickin' stupid speech that they wrote. That was the only good one, and that went down with not exactly great laughter. I think, in other words, you can't go up the stairs and make love too, So we're looking for term limit.
Đây là lần đầu tiên mà Tổng thống Trump kể chuyện joke mà không ai cười đó. Tất nhiên ông kể chuyện show là một trong những bà vợ của ông senator gọi cho ông ta đó. Nó I would love to go. Vừa đi lên cầu thang mà vừa làm tình á. Mà ông kể gì không ai cười hết trơn là đủ độ. Cái này là cái joke này là khờ dại nhất trong đêm nay mà không ai cười hết trơn á hả? Người ta bắt đầu mới cười. Không, đúng là ông Trump.
Does anybody understand this stuff? But I really do wonder whether the Democrats are trying to lose the midterms. In Maine, they nominated a guy with a Nazi tattoo. But don't worry, Democrats. Word is that Plattner's replacement, he throws bottles at women. This guy throws bottles. This guy's another lunatic, by the way. Although I think Plattner might have done surprisingly well, because we're in the age of Trump. Call it what you want. People can do well today. Plattner, I don't know. But, people don't have the guts to stick it out. But it looked like he was guilty of a lot of stuff. He certainly didn't defend himself very well. In Texas, the Democrats are running a candidate named James Telefrico, who hates guns, hates oil, hates sex, hates women, and who said he is, quote, a Christian who hates Christianity. Other than that, I think his platform is quite good.
Wow. Yeah,
and that means that he's not going to do very well against Ken Paxton, who hopefully in Texas is going to win.
Căm hận nhiều thứ.
But Telefrico, he's Alfred. You know what he looks like to me? Alfred E. Newman. Do you remember Alfred E. Newman, Mad Magazine? I said that guy is Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah.
Can't imagine he'd win. Well, I have all of the press here in one place. I have to say that we're having an amazing load of accomplishments that the media never talks about. For example, under my administration, a once feared and powerful regime that relentlessly attacked America has finally been toppled. Their former leaders have been removed, and they're now being run by a gay dictator facing internal divisions. But I, for one, wish Barry Weiss all the best at CBS News. She's a wonderful woman. Most of the press lives here in Washington, D.C., and you should be thankful for me for what my administration and I have done to make our nation's capital, which was one of the most dangerous and unsafe cities anywhere in the world, one of the safest cities in the United States.
Công nhận Tổng thống làm nói mà không cần giấy tờ nha quý vị, không cần giấy tờ hay ghê nha.
62 monuments, statues, water fountains looking more
Ông nói
beautiful.
nãy giờ là cũng ít nhất là cũng 40 phút rồi đó.
The tents are all moved out of the parks. The fences are all done. Our capital looks like it's really in good shape. And people coming here, people in the White House, they work in the White House, they all say, young women, young guys walk up. They say, thank you, sir. 2 years ago, we lived in a dangerous city. We lived in a city where 150 people were killed a year. And now we have almost a crime-free city. Our National Guard has done an incredible job, and we've removed over 5,000 career criminals. We removed, there's one stat, I think it's a great stat. It's, to me, it's fantastic. 2% of the people create 91% of the crime. That's something you can fix, and we fix it. We moved out over 5,000 career criminals out of Washington, D.C., and we have the greatest capital in the world. Again, it's beautiful, it's thriving, the restaurants are thriving. You couldn't get into a restaurant because they didn't have, all the restaurants were closing. And if you even got in, you felt unsafe. People were getting into Ubers and they were being attacked when they were in an Uber. Not happening anymore. We have tough,
Washington là ông clean up
people,
rất là sạch.
and they have done a fantastic job. Washington, D.C. is safe again. You can't get into a restaurant. The restaurants are opening up. They're opening up all over the city. They can't get, it's the exact opposite. They can't get space. but mostly I've given up on you and the media so that now I just gave up on you and I'm #1 on TikTok. Did you see that I'm #1, Stephen? Is that true? I'm #1 on TikTok. So how could they be so bad? 525, think of this, 425 billion views. Can you believe that, Peter? I mean,
Wow,
let's go,
that's a
Peter.
lot.
I gave up on you people. I gave up on traditional press. And it obviously worked because we did win in a landslide. I mean, somebody's got to be saying something good about me. But TikTok, good old TikTok, and I was able to get it sold to a group of very wealthy people, mostly Americans. I was told President Xi, who's a man that I get along with very well, he was a hard no for the sale of TikTok. They all said he's a hard no. I said, well, let's call, put your group together. They put it together, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. I called up President Xi. I said, President, look, these are American people. They're wonderful people. In fact, one of them happens to own CBS, actually. I mentioned his name. I said, these are wonderful people, and it'll be a good thing. Does it mean anything, President? It's nothing. It's nothing. They love your country. We'd love to see you approve the deal. And he goes, all right. That was it. It was done. And we sold TikTok. And he's a friend of mine. And he's not contributing to problems like other people contribute to problems. So we get along. But we made the deal. But #1 on TikTok is Trump, and that's probably why we won. But for all of the trouble that you give me a lot of trouble, a lot of heartache. I hope all of you know that I believe in the free press more than anyone in this
Chính
room
xác.
does.
Nếu mà ai nói mà không
maybe
thích
not quite.
không thích
But that's why.
Oh, before you leave, we have 12 new
Wow.
hires starting Monday. Any chance you could put together a training video for the onboarding process? Now?
Come
It's
on.
5:30 on a Friday. Actually, wait, give me 2 minutes. Your
Call me that. Am I the most transparent? Biden never used to answer your questions. He'd ask Biden 20 questions, he'd never get an answer. Who's the most transparent president, Peter? Who? I look at him, it's the first time he's tongue-tied. I cannot believe it. Oh, he's not going to be happy tomorrow. But you people have no idea how lucky you are. When I'm gone, you're all going to be broke. Your business model is going to be finished. No, it's true. When I'm not around, you're going to be broke. There's not going to be anybody to report on. Nobody gives a damn about anybody else.
Đúng, chính xác.
The New York
Nếu mà
Times the
không
other
ổng
day
không
had
có
5
những cái
stories about
này
me.
cái
You
nọ
know,
thì làm sao mà
before
có
I
cái
got
mực
into
nào có
politics
câu
in my
chuyện mà để
whole
viết
life,
và nói ổng.
I had 7 front
Chính
page
xác,
stories.
mình
This is
ông Biden
years
lúc
of
mấy cũng đâu có nhả thông
success.
tin
I
đâu.
think 6 were good, one was
Là
bad.
những thông tin là
Had
nghèo,
5
không săn tin ra được
stories,
tin.
5 good.
Cái đó
Yeah, I had
chính
a
xác.
total of 7 stories on the front page of the New York Times. That's
Yeah.
not bad. Now I average about 3 or 4 a day. All different topics, all bad. Everything bad.
Yeah. Nếu mà viết tốt
Here
và
we
viết
are.
xấu đều là
I mean,
make
here we
money
are.
hết
In
mà,
fact,
trên
when
nhà
I
báo
finish, I'm
mà.
going right back to the Oval Office, so I have to be doing okay. But we are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press, and I want to save your ratings, I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term as President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have.
Ông nói là ông sẽ chạy thêm một nhiệm kỳ nữa đó. Chẳng nghĩ là ông
I
đang
won
vừa
3
đùa thôi.
times.
Ông đang đùa
Now
chọc
I'm going to
mấy
do
người
it
kia đó.
again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, it's interesting, when you come back and you do a good job like we did, you
Ông
don't
đang
care
khịa
about it so much, but we do have to
nhà
tighten up these elections because they really are in
truyền
seriously
thông đó.
bad shape. But
2028
on a
ông sẽ chạy
serious
thêm
note, I
nhiệm
want to
kỳ.
say once
Nhưng mà
again, I
ông
just
đã
want to
khịa
thank
thì
you
nha
all.
quý vị.
It's been an interesting evening. I didn't really know what to expect, and it's far worse than I actually thought.
Vâng, chị Phương,
But
quý vị đừng quên
you want to know
subscribe,
that. But I didn't know exactly
like và
what to
share
expect.
trang nha.
And I've made a lot of friends tonight. I've made a lot of good friends tonight, probably made some enemies also. But it's been an experience that is something that we've all shared together, because we're all in this room tonight because most of us went through a period of trauma from just a short while ago. And, you know, some people said they wanted to come, but they were afraid to come, and you people weren't afraid to come. There were a lot of people that said, Jackie, they don't really, they didn't have the courage to come. And we don't want that to happen. And I'm sure it's not going to happen. We're going to do things. Again, I want to thank our law enforcement, keeps us safe. All law enforcement. We have the greatest people on earth. We had 2 years ago, we had the worst record of recruitment in, as an example, the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force. I love Space Force. Look at all that shooting we're able to do from space. That was my baby. But all of the branches you couldn't get people to join. This was 2 years ago. And last week, you probably saw, some of you wrote the story, we have the single best recruiting of people into our armed forces than we have ever had in the history of our country. They are brimming over with great people. And that's a big statement. And that also goes for the police departments where they were having a tremendous problem recruiting. You can't get into a police department now. If you're looking for a job, it's very tough. And that also includes our great fire departments because people forget about them. They're unbelievable, the job they do. So I just want to thank you. Look, we're on the cusp of something big, and I call it, and this, I'm being very serious when I say this, that this is the golden age of America. We have $19.2 trillion being spent in our country. A record was China. I think it was 10 years ago, 3 trillion. Trillion is a lot. 4 years, they went less than 1 trillion under Biden. And we have 19.2 trillion. And this is a period of actually 13 months, not even current, because we're here a little bit longer than that. But that was as of reporting dates.
Ok, quý vị, Trang nghĩ như vậy là mình cũng khá đủ rồi, gần 3 tiếng đồng hồ. Nói chung, thông điệp của Tổng thống của Trump qua cái buổi tối ngày hôm nay là một cái buổi là yến tiệc cho những người là giữa Nhà Trắng, giữa White House với Tòa Bạch Ốc, với truyền thông. Đây là một cái mà gì mà Trang thấy trong cái buổi tiệc ngày hôm nay đó, họ có những cái hòa nhã với nhau, họ không có cái sự căng thẳng giống như trước đây. Trang đã coi nhiều cái Correspondents Dinner lắm, họ rất là căng thẳng, một bên thì dập bên kia, một bên nọ thì dập ngược trở lại, người nghe cũng dập ngược trở lại mà người nói cũng dập ngược trở lại đó. Nhưng mà tối ngày hôm nay Trang thấy nó rất là hòa nhã, nó không có một cái kiểu mà căng thẳng. Thì Trang nghĩ là giữa Tổng thống Trump với những người mà báo chí nó có một cái sự giống như là xích gần lại với nhau, nó không có những cái sự phản cách với nhau nữa. Thì đây là nói chung, nói lại nói tới nói lui, đó là mình nhìn được một điểm ở bên của ông Trump đó, ổng chỉ muốn làm sao tốt cho đất nước này mà thôi. Có thể mọi người hiểu ổng, nhất là bên báo chí, bên cánh tả đó, hiểu ổng một cách lệch lạc, hoặc những gì mà ổng muốn đưa thông điệp ra thì bắt đầu những cái báo chí phải đưa ra những thông tin giả. Dù rằng thông tin giả hay thông tin thật hay là thông tin nửa nạc nửa mỡ thì cũng là có một cái câu chuyện để viết ra để make money, để có thể kiếm tiền được. Và những cái tàu soạn hoặc những truyền thông có bản tin mà tiếp tục để nói. Còn nếu mà Tổng thống Trump không làm những cái có những cái kích thích của cái ngành mà truyền thông, hoặc có những cái câu chuyện mà nắn răng nắn cốt của nhau đó, thì làm sao truyền thông có cơ hội viết bài viết báo được. Gọi là cái content, làm sao có cái content để viết, làm sao có một nội dung mà để nói, thí dụ như vậy. Thì Tổng thống Trump đã làm được cái đó. Thì nói tóm được trong cái buổi tối ngày hôm nay đó là cho Trang hiểu là giữa truyền thông thật sự, dù tả hay hữu, với chính quyền của Trump và với cá nhân của Tổng thống Trump, họ ít nhất là họ có những cái at ease, nhưng như là giữa họ với nhau có một cách nó hòa nhã trở lại, nó không có cái kiểu mà nước với lửa nữa, nó không có còn cái kiểu này. Thì cái đó là cái điểm mà Trang thấy là Tổng thống Trump, ông càng ngày ông càng già đi, và ông càng ngày ông càng thấy là cái việc mà ông cần làm là tập trung vào cho đất nước, chứ không phải là tập trung vào cho truyền thông mà thôi. Nhưng mà truyền thông mà nói lơ vơ hay là nói ấm ớ đó, thì ông dũa là ông cứ dũa, ông sạc thì ông cứ sạc thôi. Thì cái đó là cái tính của ông Tổng thống Trump. Nhưng mà cho tới bây giờ hiện tại là Trang thấy rằng là những người kỳ cựu truyền thông của dòng chính của Mỹ, mà trong đó có cánh tả luôn, mà bây giờ họ cũng nhận thức, họ có ý thức ra được là cái ý của Tổng thống Trump dẫn tốt cho đất nước, chứ không phải là vì ổng muốn độc tài, độc quyền, độc đoán. nhưng mà giống như trước đây nhiều thông tin đã đưa ra, nhưng mà Trang chưa thấy cái sự thay đổi đó trong truyền thông người Việt của mình. Trang chưa thấy Trang thấy là truyền thông người Việt của mình mà theo đảng Dân Chủ vẫn còn có những cái hụt hặc về Tổng thống Trump rất là nặng, vẫn còn những cái aggressiveness và những cái cụm từ ngữ mà nổi Tổng thống Trump là giống như là đi theo Trump giống như hầm ca cha vậy đó, thì Trang thấy là những cái cụm từ đó nó vẫn còn trong cái cộng đồng người Việt của mình. Trang hy vọng là qua những cái chương trình này mà những người mà họ không thích Trump đó, họ bị TDS đó, thì họ có thể nhìn ra được một cái bầu trời mới, một cái chân lý mới. Nó không phải là giữa đảng phái mà làm sao cứu vớt đất Mỹ này không có cái sự bành trướng của gọi là dân chủ xã hội chủ nghĩa đó. Cái đó mới là ghê hồn và ghê tởn cho mọi người trong trên đất nước này xảy ra. Và một con đường tiếp theo là cộng sản. Tử dù rằng mình có binh ông này bà nọ đi nữa, nhưng mà cái định hướng của họ mà đi vào trong con đường xã hội chủ nghĩa cộng sản á, thì coi như quên đi. Thì trong hiện tại bây giờ là về vấn đề Donald Trump là một cái mối đe dọa trong cộng đồng này của chúng ta rất là lớn. Đó là cái mà Trang thấy là nó đang hiện tại xảy ra trên đất nước Mỹ này, và trong đó là cái người mà lãnh đạo trong một cái hệ thống mà để làm sao đắc cử được cho những gọi là thành phần thuộc về xã hội chủ nghĩa dân chủ mà có thể đắc cử được, là họ dùng cái hệ thống gọi là Mandani là cái ông mà thị trưởng của bên New York á. Thì cái đó là cái ghê hồn ở nơi đây đó, mà nó đã ứng nghiệm được trong vài ghế rồi, thì bây giờ tháng 11 nó sẽ thay đổi, mình cần tỉnh táo ra. Và Trang chỉ có một cái thông điệp cuối cùng ở nơi đây là đừng quên giữ cái ngày 28 tháng 7 vào 11 giờ sáng thứ ba tuần tới trong cái hội trường Lavender trên đường Beach, đường 13. Thì có một cái buổi event gặp gỡ của ông Trương Võ, thì quý vị có thể đến đây trao đổi những câu hỏi, những thắc mắc, hay là ủng hộ ông Trương Võ về muốn donation về để công Trương Võ có một cái ngân sách, có một cái ngân quỹ mà để làm sao đi ra tranh cử một cách nó mạnh mẽ hơn. Thì quý vị cũng có thể vào trong website của ông ta, hoặc có thể scan vào trong cái QR code, mình có thể donate luôn nha quý vị. Rồi, còn ai có câu hỏi, còn không có câu hỏi thì Trang xin ngừng cái livestream từ đây, và ngày mai Trang sẽ gặp lại quý vị ngày mai vào ngày thứ Bảy, để Trang coi ngày thứ Bảy ngày mai có gì không, bằng không thì buổi trưa có thể Trang có làm một cái chương trình tùy theo. Trang thì bây giờ hơi bận một chút trong mùa hè với con của Trang, khi nào mà các con Trang mà đi học trở lại thì Trang sẽ mấy cái rảnh một chút thêm cho buổi trưa, chứ bây giờ buổi trưa thì Trang còn hơi bận cho mùa hè. Đi bơi, đi này đi nọ đó, mà đi camping rồi này nọ đó, thì đó là cái mà coi Trang còn chạy xe taxi cho con vòng vòng á, thành thử ra Trang cũng hơi bận chút xíu cho buổi trưa. Rồi cái gì ngày mai Trang sẽ gặp quý vị vào buổi tối, nếu mà không gặp buổi trưa thì Trang sẽ gặp buổi tối nha quý vị. Mình chúc quý vị một đêm thật là an lành, một cuối tuần thứ 6 đầy bình an và ngủ ngon, và have a wonderful night nha. Bye bye.